Oh, oh, surprise, surprise. The countdown was a little bit long, actually. We made it here quicker than what I even thought. All right, welcome, folks, to the second home gun. And this one is a whole nother beast from what we had yesterday. Whole different set of players, whole different mod, and just whole different stakes. We're playing QC, and that's already pretty peculiar, I would say. And we're playing Ironclad versus Libertarian. It's a real grudge match, a real rivalry here, more in terms of words than in terms of elo. So sorry there, Lib. I just had to do it. But yeah, that's what we're looking at for today. Lib down here is the Germans in game one against Ironclad on the Russians. Now, I should say both of these players are allowed to re-roll the map before turn 6 if they so choose. So, that means that if for some reason they don't like their map or they think they rolled poorly here, these are random maps pre-selected by me, similar to the future tournament. I just had to prepare the maps for the spectator mode, but it is a completely random map. I didn't change anything, barring my little spectator island up here. So, I don't think, however, that any of these guys is going to re-roll this map, since they have pretty decent starts, I would say. So this should be our first regular match of this series. And Ironclad up here as the Russians with the double scout. He's getting a couple nice and early huts, and I doubt Lib is gonna see much of those over the course of this game. This is a 4-player map, meaning that the resources and everything else is distributed as though there were 4 players on this Pangea, which is actually a Pangea, despite this weird, well, tumor over here. In any case, that's what we're looking at here. We have Lib with the early barracks, but what he doesn't know is that they happened to spawn quite a bit apart from each other. So maybe the early barracks not gonna come in as handy, or maybe I just don't know shit about QC. I gotta admit, I would have invited a competent guest caster on to talk about QC with me, but this was on a very short notice, so I can't really speak, or I couldn't really set anything up with a competent QC co-caster. I would have loved to invite a person such as Pug to to show me the ropes here a bit and talk about what's going on here. Sadly as well, I don't have a spy setup. Can show you guys real quick. I do have the intelligence agency, but I cannot. Okay, I can now build an embassy, but I can't afford the spy missions because I don't have any gold, sadly. This is still rather rushed, but at least we have a proper stream setup for today. It's looking way cleaner, at least by my standards. So I'm happy with that one at least. Now, Ironclad has already found Lib, who is yet unaware of where his opponent is at. Ironclad also about to plant his second city, whereas Lib is still on 3 pop in Berlin. He of course walked turn 1, so that's why he's behind in growth by 1. Another worker here for Ironclad we see, as Lib has now hit size 4 and still no settler out there. Not sure that's ideal, but yeah, in any case, he's even got an archer already, so he's definitely got some powerful military, although he's probably not going to be able to put it to a lot of use. Looks like the early expansion is favoring Ironclad quite a bit here. He's going to get a real nice city here on that second. Yeah, oh no, I'm teching. Oh god, stop teching. God bless. God bless, I caught that before I reached philosophy. That would have been ugly. But yeah, he's got a real nice city there with the horses, with the wheat as well. And this is a pretty much unmodded version of QC. So whatever you know about QC most likely applies here as well. It's definitely not my strongest mod. I just will have to keep mentioning that throughout this stream today, because I really don't know much about the strategies there, the meta, what a good build looks like, and how to really tell who's winning. So I apologize for that, and I wish I could have provided better insight with a co-caster here. It just didn't happen to shake out that way, and you'll just have to deal with it, or I mean, go do something else for the evening, I guess. You definitely don't want to though, because only a fool would miss the one opportunity to see Ironclad and Lib beat each other up in CIV3. Pure 1v1 digs out all the odds are, well, no, that's not how you say it. Well, the stakes are highest ever is what I'm saying. And again, we're playing for double elo here, so we're playing a best of 3, and every single match is gonna be double reported, so double elo per match. Both of these parties pretty confident here. This is definitely not as lopsided as you might see, as you might think, because Lib has let me know that QC is actually his strongest mod, although he doesn't play it really a lot. So he definitely is not scared of whatever Ironclad has to offer. And for now, all he has to offer is a worker army, as per usual. 4 workers out here to his 1 warrior in St. Petersburg. But due to the nice early scouting that he did, he can be 100% confident that no military strike is gonna occur all too early against him. And as well, he spawned in a rather favorable position here, because look at this. He spawned up north with Moscow. And look at this position. You pretty much know that your opponent's either going to be south or east, right? Because the land indicates as much. And what he did is he made 2 scouts and just sent 1 east and 1 south. So he found Lib really quickly. Whereas Lib, he doesn't really know anything. He now sees that there's water to his east, and he could also judge from his position on the map that there's probably nobody east of him, but as to south, west, or north, he really doesn't have a clue. He doesn't know how far this island extends up north. He doesn't know anything about the map, basically. So the expansionist trade has already paid off massively here for Ironclad. And that allows him to play full greed, whereas Lib has to make military units not only to pressure, but also to just protect himself from Ironclad in any regard. He now sees his scout, so that's the first sighting of the enemy here for Lib. He sees him across the swamp, if you guys didn't know. Although hills don't permit you to see across forests, they do give you vision over marshland. So he has spotted Ironclad scout over here on the bananas. And let's see if he can make anything of that, because I think he's really confident that this scout would have had to have come from west, northwest, I assume. So he knows the general direction of where Ironclad is most likely at least if he's any competent at deduction here. Let's check this one out. Is this a BG? Oh, it is. I didn't even see that. The nice German worker there blocking the tile indicator with his muscular leg. But before I get too carried away, let's rather focus our attention back on what's actually important here. And that is Ironclad having his 5th worker out on the map, but at least another warrior as well. Looks like he's gonna look for this hut, and since he's expansionist, he can be confident not to encounter any barbarians out of that hut. It looks like at least one of these huts is gonna go to Lib, though, if he so chooses. For now, prefers to keep the priority on the mountain, but I'm sure he's gonna take the hut end of turn. If nothing else, maybe he wants to wait until he's got his next city planted, so that he can potentially even pop a settler there, however unlikely it is. Especially with me being in this game, it is rather unlikely that you're gonna pop settlers here, unless you're really far behind. So no, that's not actually a viable strategy here for him, sadly. But in any case, I'm pretty happy with his expansion phase so far. He's got his 3rd settler out already. So does oh no, Ironclad does not. He's of course still got the 4 pop in Moscow, but looks like he doesn't have a settler out yet. And that's interesting since Lib walked that first turn, but maybe the cow is just that OP. Looks like the grass one does have more food, but maybe with the production, the cow just gives you that much more. I'm not 100% sure, but I wouldn't have expected him to outgrow Ironclad early, since Ironclad has real nice food as well. He didn't walk turn 1, and he didn't opt for an early barracks as early as Lib did, in any case. So yeah, Lib has now come to the conclusion that Ironclad must be somewhere north, it seems, because he's sending his better archers up there in rows. And yeah, he's probably going to encounter the ocean and then just going to walk west from there. So pretty decent shot at finding his opponent soon, although the land gap between these two is pretty massive. I'm just talking about the physical gap here. So he's really not going to be able to pressure him all that early unless Ironclad ends up falling asleep at the wheel. So we'll see. We'll see how this pays out. Let's check. The stream is already live. Yup, so I'm gonna announce it. I'm gonna announce it once more. Gonna announce it once more and share the link so that everybody can watch. All right, and I'm back for you guys. Just making sure that everybody has the chance to catch this epic and very much anticipated grudge match between two real hardcore CIV3 players who are more well known for their future games, if anything. But Ironclad insisted on having it be QC, so there we went, and Lib, ever so confident in his QC ability as well, did not shy away from the challenge for a second. Definitely don't want any false rumors to be spread here. I read earlier in the Steam chat that some people thought Lib actually chickened out of Ironclad's challenge, but of course that is a frivolous accusation. Lib never once thought about doing so. It just so happened that a lot of challenges were still outstanding, so it was a little slow in resolving this whole thing with Ironclad demanding another mod and Lib initially having suggested future. But really, all that doesn't matter anymore since these two guys have come to a very sufficient solution here. And they are looking good in this one early. Both are expanding again very, very freely here. We have an early horseman upgrade there for Ironclad. I'm surprised he went for that, right? Because looking at the way this map is set up, maybe he feels confident in his abilities to sneak it count a couple of horsemen around and surprise Lip. You don't even necessarily have to get the kill there. Have to get the well, or the city take maybe. Even just getting a couple of tiles, slowing his expansion, getting a worker, even that would be pretty big already for a not so huge investment in terms of a few horsemen. So I don't hate the play, I'm just surprised because this map doesn't necessarily scream early game aggression to me if I look at it. So yeah, that's why. Oh. All right. First chat comments now coming in here. I'm glad people are joining me. Of course, I have to repeat again, there's 10 minutes delay between me reading your responses and you guys hearing my responses to your responses. So that's why it's going to be a little bit more difficult than yesterday to interact with the stream. That's not no problem though. I'm sure there's going to be more people in chat later on. And yeah, then you guys can have discussions among yourselves, which is always very nice to follow along and look back on as well with these tournament games. So I do appreciate that every time. Looks like Lib is going for the hard early aggression here. He's roading towards Ironclad and expanding towards him too. But to be fair, in any case, even if there was no Ironclad up here, he would still be settling up here, I assume, because this land is just too nice. Look at those wines, look at those river valleys. And what other options does he really have? He has that city down here, which is pretty neat. Oh, the Oasis is also a very good tile in QC, but all these plains around, I don't know. I just don't know, mate. These cities up here are just the best ones. If you can get one here, maybe, I don't know, somewhere here. These are some real nice cities. So I figure he would just be expanding up here no matter if Ironclad was there or not. So again, I like the move. Barbs have already spawned, interestingly. There's not a lot of them, but Ironclad might be about to lose his first scout over here. Let's check, where's his second one at? Did he already lose the second one? No, it's down here. He didn't make the way all over here, where there's 3 more huts, which would be pretty decent reward for checking that side of the map out. He's now moved out his first horseman as well, and he's just barely snuck by Lib's sentry warrior down south. They might still end up meeting each other, but Ironclad, knowing that there's a bunch of jungle down here, I would assume he's also looking to go through the mountains. But of course, those are by now firmly in Lib's control, so he's not gonna get a sneak through there. Maybe just moving the horseman up to Rostov, but no, I think he's really looking for just some cheesy sneak play there. I'm just not sure where yet, because he really doesn't have the vision priority here to set up real plays. All right, I'm just responding to some chats. Again, that's a little bit more clunky on this delayed stream than it was most of the time, but Ironclad, dude, as though he had map hacks on, sneaking around the warrior here. Let's see if he ends up walking into vision range of this mountain. That would be crazy if you managed to avoid that on instinct. I doubt he's gonna though, but what he is about to is find out about Lib's rushing units, I guess. Bunch of archers here on his borders, and he better be prepared for that, because he's planting real far apart here. He's also planting rather aggressively towards Lib, and these instants aren't even that good shield or that good tiles in general. I would say not that good that you would be planting as aggressively as this, I don't think. But Lib has moved up to Yaroslav. Ironclad reinforcing the city with another warrior. Doesn't look like Lib's hitting this turn. And Ironclad still, he could be about to enter this warrior's vision range. I assume Lib's probably gonna move that warrior up as well. So if he ended up doing so, he would then spot the horseman by default. Interesting over here, is he gonna just stack a couple of archers on Ironclad's border while he's still unseen? Because he's got a couple more coming. He could be waiting for those to reinforce. And there goes Ironclad. Alright, he moves up the horseman. Now gets spotted by the warrior. Lip has all the time in the world to react and to secure his home cities, and he can now also choose whether or not to move forward with these archers. I would personally appreciate it if he just waited for these two to come in, maybe move this one off the mountain as well. So with 5 archers you can actually do some damage there if Ironclad's not expecting it, which he might be, because he also has enough vision to know that he's getting expanded towards. That is all, yeah, old news to him. But does he have the units to respond adequately is the question here. Lib hasn't moved that warrior this turn yet, I don't think so. He has the opportunity to double a bunch of units that Ironclad would rather not lose. I expect him to go deeper into Ironclad's land just to get some intel. He might also elect to go for the hill, thinking he might be able to deny some iron or just get the favorable spot. But no, he actually didn't move it. So maybe he moved start of turn here. I might be wrong on this. He now ends up moving out on the hill. Averts the Ironclad archer, the ankle breaker coming out here. It gets a beautiful move off there. Wastes one of Ironclad's units' moves. And Ironclad has cleared out one of Lib's archers over here. The one off the mountain was actually moved off as he moved the 2 other ones from the stealth position over here in the forested hills, and gets some pressure there onto Ironclad's frontline cities. What could have been a 5 archer push ends up only being a 2 unit one because of Ironclad's swift response with the archer out of Rostov. However, he still has the 2 here in the back, and he does know about Ironclad's horseman sneak down here, so I wouldn't say Lib's really in danger for now. He's also still got these 2 units to annoy Ironclad with, alongside the warrior on the iron, of course. But I would say Ironclad's in a really good position here. Just because he's got a bunch of land area already. He doesn't have as many cities as Lib, but he's stabilized a lot, and I'd assume that he's got a bunch of units here to go along with his tons of workers as well. And he has still some some decent room to expand into back here. Some free iron as well if he wasn't for some reason able to free up the one at the Yaroslav. So there's no issues there. Ironclad goes for the clear out on another archer. He's getting good rolls here, and looks like Lib ended up hitting into that. Might have been a little bit delayed on that archer move here, as he lets us know in chat. That was, of course, a terrible turn of events for him, losing 40 shields here for the cost of none, really, just for the cost of 2 turns of healing for Ironclad. So the Russians are going to be very happy with that trade. And this momentum here is turning kind of akin to traditional history German versus Russia combat. You don't like seeing that there if you're a German, just in case there's any Germans around here. I wouldn't know. But looks like Lib at least got to hold on to his hillside warrior, controlling the iron over there. Now he doesn't know that Ironclad has another iron in the back, but he's going to find out about that rather soon, I'd assume, because Ironclad looks like he's somewhat about to hook it, although moves the worker a little bit away from it, could still move onto it with the one from the mined grassland. So yeah, I'd expect him to maybe get a couple of swordsmen out sooner, but maybe he wants to hold those as well to increase the surprise factor that he's gonna levy onto Ironclad with an upgrade, or onto Lib rather, who doesn't expect him to have another iron maybe, because I don't think he ever made it as far as this deep into Ironclad's land. Therefore, could go for a surprise move there. He's moved the worker over there. So let's see what he's going to be able to do with that. Still has the horseman in the back line here. Maybe he's lost a scout. No, yeah, he's lost the one up north to the bar, pretty sure. He's still got the one down south. Maybe he just wanted to have another scout-like unit, and that's why he sent the horseman out. I do assume he's going to harass Lib's southern cities with that, of course. While at home, again, Ironclad's in a real safe position now. He sees everything that's happening. He's in a little bit of a corner here, whereas Lib's in more of an exposed position here. Although he has more good land, I would say, Lib does, he's also more exposed to any attacks that are typically rather telegraphed in a 1v1 scenario, but especially so here if you're Lib and can really just stream forward into Rostov. Now, Ironclad doesn't have that good sentry up yet, so he could also realistically be hit through the jungle from the south, but that's not a play for at least a couple of dozen more turns, because this jungle is just so tough to navigate. On top of the fact that Ironclad has, of course, the vision from the horseman that he just slammed through there. So as he's now finally managed to reclaim control over Yaroslavl's Iron Hill, he's also going to work on hooking the one at Yekaterinburg, and therefore probably not that far out from getting maybe a couple of swordsmen here, which are also just a decent defensive unit, right? If you've got no true defenders, a couple of swordsmen won't hurt. So the upgrade is definitely not a terrible idea to begin with, even if you're not planning to go for a strike immediately. At least that's what I would assume there. Lib still stacking archers on his border though. Is he gonna move in? No, he's rather moving off. I don't think he would be about to hit his hill, right? This doesn't look all that good. No, all he does is protect his work over there. That makes sense. He's building the road into Russia here. Again, he has more cities. It's 6 cities versus 7. Lib has the city lead still, and he's also got at least one horseman here at Königsberg that he just upgraded a couple of seconds ago. Yeah, his back cities are rather empty, and I can't see him having a ton of units in Hamburg or Frankfurt as well. So that horseman might be able to do some damage, at least get some improvements, is what I'd assume. Ironclad's first and foremost gotta worry about his homelands though, because despite his pretty good vision that he's got up north here, he can't he doesn't have a lot of defensive units here for his foreign cities, which are with the Italian improvements as well, pretty exposed to any potential attacks here from Lib, which are gonna be coming rather soon, I would imagine. He's got that horseman and he's prepping the road already. I would assume that Lib is looking for something here, not too far in the future. Why did I just get horseback riding? Uh, I couldn't have popped a hut. I'm a little bit confused here. How could that have happened? I don't know, dude. Really, I have no clue what just happened there. But whatever. We won't bother with it. It's too complicated. QC is a wild thing, though. Okay. Alright, is he actually hitting that hill? I don't think so. I think Ironclad's hitting down from the hill. Much more likely he gets the worker there. Oh, that's terrible for Lib. Is he able to take it back? Oh, he gets a super bad roll there. What the hell was that? Was that actually just the 1 HP archer? Oh god, at least he gets the road back and the road was completed, but oh, that sucks for him. I think he might have lost a worker there, maybe two even. I think it was only one though, judging by these two guys still been up there. But more importantly, I think he lost 3 archers in that. He's just taking terrible roads, or he's getting terrible rolls here is what I mean. So you really hate to see it there. It's not going all that well in the micro sense for him. We see a couple of swordsmen here, at least one in St. Petersburg. Again, sadly, don't have a spy here. I might try for some spying next turn and see if I can actually do it, because I have accumulated good amount of gold by now. So yeah, maybe I can do something with that. But it looks like Lib's also getting a couple of offensive units out. He doesn't have a ton of them. Back is all empty, and he's really just stacking in Munich, it looks like. Don't think he's got all that big a military. Let's see if he's got enough at home to fend that horseman off. Ironclad's still sneaking around, and if he's playing the long game here, there's nothing preventing him from sneaking it through all the way onto Berlin from the south here, because Lib doesn't have any vision, and Ironclad knows that, because he's got a scout down here, and he sees all the relevant tiles that would give Lib intel of what's going on there. Alright, moves going on. We have a little bit of a stack here. The conscript swordsman. Alright, that's some good investments here on the upgrade money. Let's see if I can actually spy. Oh, I can. I didn't expect that. Okay, it didn't work. Okay, both failed. Alright, I think they know that. Yeah, I don't need to inform them. But oh lord. I should have set up a better spying government here. Again, this being rather short notice though. And the stream setup having the priority this time around, which I wanted to look clean, is pretty decent. Alright. That being said, it looks like Lib's strategy now also has shifted a little bit here, trying to sneak around north. He's got a couple of horsemen there, but Ironclad seems to read that. Gonna put another warrior up here after being cleared out from that hill, or rather choosing to step down from it. He's gonna spot those horsemen before they can do any damage, presumably. Although, I think end of next turn is when they could double move into his land, so he's gotta be somewhat quick with gathering the intel there. If Lip tried for a double move end of this turn, I'm not sure how the moves are looking on these 4 guys. He would get stuck on that warrior though, so that is a pretty decent spot for Ironclad to be in. Overall, I like Ironclad's land and expansion. It's pretty well worked, and he's got a decent amount of units to defend anything the Lip could throw at him right now. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. I'm not sure I saw that ever in a HOLMGANG, but ouch, ouch. Look at that amateurish micro there. Really, what else did we come to expect from the guy after losing rank 1 in future? And oh, that's interesting. Did he just move that entire stack from the horses into Rostov? That's so surprising for me. Why would he move it there? He can't make any aggressive moves with it. He's not gonna just walk it into Lib's land. There's no way that's what he's gonna do. So why move it there when you have your home cities? That horse's position here was really nice, because you could reinforce any of the cities that Lib could potentially hit. And you don't have any sentries here as Russia. You have no priority at all. So you don't know where he's going to hit you, and you have no idea what he's got. So actually, I mean, you've somewhat of an idea, right? There's no iron in this land, which you probably know, but oh, what's that? Why is the horseman going south? Maybe this horseman up here spotted him. Lib finally doing the due diligence here in the scouting department. But yeah, that move from Ironclad confuses me. I'm not sure what he would need the units in Rostov for. And he's now spotted the Lib horses, so he's moving a couple of them back into St. Petersburg, it seems, because he knows that Yakutsk is potentially at a danger of getting rushed. I don't think Lib's gonna go for it, though, because having been spotted, he must assume that Ironclad has enough units to reinforce with. Another 2 archers going straight east, though, towards Rostov, so he's really... wow, he's really not interested in backing up Yakutsk. Lib actually is going for the double move, although pretty early one. Oh, that's why he's going early. He's also moving into Rostov, where he's gonna encounter the bulk of Ironclad's army, who is now fixed and put out the fires in St. Petersburg. Is Lib gonna go for something? It looks like he might just be going for the pillages, but no, he's actually going for St. Petersburg. That was a sneaky move, but the lightning quick reinforcements from Ironclad looks like they're enough. Lord, he's really precise and quick with those. I mean, he didn't over reinforce, right? But Lib with the mind games here in the attack, he couldn't, of course, block all the roads there. Held a couple of those attacks back, but whatever he tried, Ironclad was ready for it, had enough units ready there. Looked like at some points St. Petersburg did drop a bit low, but he was more than ready to fend that off. So the first kind of emotional highlight here for this Holmgang has settled down, and Lib's attack, although pretty well executed and not ideally prepared for against by Ironclad, doesn't net him any cities or any improvements for that matter. I don't think he's gonna get a pillage off here. I think Ironclad's gonna make the focus to get those horsemen cleared out. I like the move there for Lib. Did a nice job in getting onto Yakutsk. And one thing that I haven't touched on at all, is, oh, there's another round of combat, and that's Ironclad now clearing out those horses. All right, that's just, yeah, the reasonable act to follow that battle up with. Looks like he's getting some bad rolls, though, because St. Petersburg is looking iffy right now. The horsemen getting some good rolls for Lib, apparently. Finally, because he's taken a couple of brutal beatings here in terms of RNG. But what I wanted to mention is this is QC, so people are presumably going to be attacking quite a lot here, meaning that boats are on the table. I wouldn't be all that surprised if both of these guys ended up researching map making rather soon, and that would then allow them to send some galleys. And since Ironclad's the only one with coastal cities so far, that is another threat for Lib to worry about. Ironclad apparently about to connect those roads here, so can now also utilize the road that Lib built here earlier. The Germans, meanwhile, retreating to the hill up north. Ironclad has stabilized, has fended off everything that was thrown at him, and he's now planting more cities. I really like the spot that Russia is in here. The border expanders at Rostov as well. Gets the road here from Lib 2. He's got a stack in Rostov, we know that, so we can now at any point in time when he so chooses move onto this tile, double move onto this road potentially, and then Munich would be completely isolated. So what was a rather aggressive plan from Lib might come to bite him in the end, since it's really an uncomfortable spot here. It looks like both of them tried to go for the attack angle onto the opponent's horseman down here, and I didn't quite see when it happened, but apparently Ironclad got shafted in that 1v1. Lib gonna pick up a coastal city himself soon, it looks like. He's more likely just going for the iron here, but picking up a coastal spot in the process would be pretty smart by my judgment, because again, that's just a threat that the opponent doesn't need to worry about, and you can fix that by just planting one coastal city anywhere, even if you don't build any boats or anything. You can just having it means that the opponent needs to consider the fact that boating is on the table, needs to set up naval sentries at the very least, or more annoyingly, leave a couple of units in its back cities that would otherwise be completely unnecessary to guard. And there he goes. He apparently looks to get control over this mountain. It's not going all that well for him so far. And Lib, with the move here, the horseman onto the mountain Ironclad is definitely gonna take the road, but it comes up terribly short for him. He's hard committing for this though, and finally gets control over the mountain. He's invested quite a lot into this. I don't think he ended up losing all that many shields. Maybe a warrior and a swordsman is what I'm thinking. So I think that is still worth it, but Iron Lib made him work for it for sure. The reinforce with the horseman was rather smart because he didn't have it roaded, so he couldn't reinforce, right? The road was blocked, so out of Munich was no option there. Lib doing himself a great favor reinforcing that road here, because again, we pointed out how that was his only connection into Munich and how it was double movable out of Rostov. So you gotta take precautions against that, and that's exactly what he's done. Good move there. Although one spearman isn't all that great, it buys him some time to reinforce it if Ironclad actually ended up going for a play there. So that's the least he can do to ensure himself some safety up there in Germany's northernmost city, Munich, as we all know. I'm 50% disappointed here not to have seen any galleys yet out of these, well, 3 coastal cities, I guess. Could definitely have done better there, Ironclad. So yeah, I guess it's fine so far. You need land units to defend yourself, but I want to see some boating action here because that's what I come for when I watch QC, obviously, right? The magnificent boating place, as we all know. He's winning the land fight quite confidently right now. He's slowly gaining back all the priority that Lib held in the early game, because after he had established control on all these mountains, it was way easier for Lib to defend adequately against whatever Ironclad had. He had all the vision and he knew what Ironclad, well, what types of units he had. That is now gone because Ironclad has both the early game strategic resources. Now, the one downside to this is, I haven't set up the most ideal spectating setup yet for QC. I'm not even sure if there's an ideal way to do it, but we don't see the resources other than the iron and the horses. And of course, people aren't in the medieval era yet, but once they hit that era, if it even comes that far, I would maybe check the big file to point out to you guys where the saltpeter is at, for example, just so we don't get completely left in the dark here in the regard of yeah, those more advanced strategic resources. Yeah, that of course we don't need to worry about just yet, but could potentially be playing a bigger role in the later stages of the QC match. Again, not an expert here. Would have liked to have had a guest caster, but I just wasn't able to set it up in time. Lib about to colonize that iron here, so he probably made a decent amount of wet warriors, rather, that he's looking to upgrade. I might try again next turn for a spy mission just to get a sense of how big the armies for these two guys are. I would really like to get that intel, because that can oftentimes be yeah, very helpful when judging army sizes, and also when deducing how many units both of these guys have, both in their attacking and in their defending spots. In terms of score, which is something I haven't talked about yet for this matchup, Lib is only behind by 7. He has been outgrown over these last 10-20 turns though, so I expect the score gap to widen considerably here, as Ironclad's land has widened. Another coastal city there makes 4 potential boat creating spots, and Lib with the iron colony not quite set up. Maybe a swordsman push is what he's looking for as well. He just doesn't have any good angles into Ironclad's land, and he's not gonna build the bigger stack at this rate, I don't think, because no matter how great the land around your capital is, you can still only 1 per turn units out of there, right? You're not gonna get 2 or 3 of them, no matter how much you improve it. So Ironclad's land, with the improvement that he's had, that he's made by now, I think is just more productive as well than Libs. I would not be surprised if Ironclad had the higher MFG, despite having 4 cities at virtually no population. His land is just so improved and so far spread that I don't think Lib's production is quite on the same level, though I might be underrating the great cities, the great trio here of Berlin, Leipzig, and Hamburg, because that's some great productivity out of there. And there we go. As Leipzig catches fire, Russia moves in with a decent-sized stack. He's contemplating whether to go for Munich or the road, it seems. Instead, looks like he grabs a worker with the conscript swordsman. All right, great unit. I'm surprised that it was actually put to some use here. Gets vision of that mountain for a second, and that, most importantly, nets him a beautiful look at that burning city of Leipzig here, which he's gonna enjoy undoubtedly. He's moved into the land successfully here, and Germany's got to find a response to it. I don't think Lib's got any catapults out, so chipping away at that is currently not possible. So what he's gonna have to do is first of all, of course, make sure that he's not gonna die here, right? That he's able to defend his cities. He's putting a little bit of pressure back onto Ironclad with the horsemen on the hill here, but just one unit is not gonna force any of your opponents to stay at home, because he's just producing enough units to defend that with every turn. So that's not a worry for Ironclad. And look at that. He's got the stream, the flow of swordsmen still coming out of his core cities, reinforcing his attack. Of course, same is true for Lib, right? In Königsberg, Leipzig, Berlin, and Hamburg, he's definitely getting a good amount of units per turn as well. So the longer Ironclad waits with this swordsman stack here, the better the easier time he will have to defend it. However, I get the feeling that this stack is not actually what he's intending to kill Lib with. He's taking control over these hills here, which he could also have used these swordsmen to move into Lib's land, but instead elected to well, just get the upper hand here and secure the vision over all the hillside ranges here. So I think what he's doing is he's rather going for a slower choke out here, not immediately hitting. He's taken the road to Munich, which is the most crucial part of the map here. Remember, a kill on Munich would not end the game. We're still in QC here, meaning that 2-city elimination is the name of the game. Killing Munich is not gonna end the game for Ironclad, but it would of course be a great first step, and the city is not so vulnerable for him as it is for Lib, who, let's face it, just really has a tough time taking it. And looks like there's a stack attack going through right now. Whatever that was, maybe Lib tried for the end of turn stack attack on the road, is what I'm suspecting right now, and it didn't go his favor, it seems, because low HP swordsman here on top in Königsberg. He doesn't have a star icon there as well, so I doubt that an army was created. Looks like Ironclad able to move a couple of these wounded units back. He's actually not pillaged. That is just incredibly curious to me, because he had moves on all these archers here. Why didn't he pillage the road before he moved off? Because you've got to suspect that Lib has enough units to take it back if this is all that you leave on it. So that's an interesting move that I don't quite get. He's now managed to take the hill up here. Was a bit close. I think he lost another swordsman there, but he's now in full control over the north. The central area of the map is still held by Lib, and the southern part isn't really contested, but Ironclad has got a couple of warriors down there as well, so he's at least gonna be able to yeah, gonna be able to clear out some barbs and make sure that Lib's not coming through there. The northern part, of course, is where the action is at right now. He's taken the road. I don't think he's going to be able to clear it again. Lib should be able to take these units out before they get the pillage off. But maybe Ironclad's going to move with another stream of reinforcements here out of Rostov and go for a hit onto Munich next turn before the road is fully recovered for Lib. I'm not sure, again, what exactly the plan is here. Because I would have expected him to just make this road his #1 priority, block it, pillage it, and then slowly overwhelm Munich. But that doesn't seem to be what he's keen on doing right now. Maybe due to the walls in that German city, making it an unattractive target for an attack. Maybe he's aiming to isolate it and then strike someone else, but whatever it is, he's losing control over that road. And despite him getting a couple of nice rolls here, looks like he's getting another swordsman over there. Is he going to be able to reinforce the time? No. Okay, Lib has taken the road back for a moment. He's gonna reinforce it as well. You have to feel like, yeah, there he goes. Gets the spearman on over. And he's put out the biggest fire that was plaguing him, to say so. That's a start for Lib, definitely. Spec cities, of course, are super productive here. Again, look at this. 21 pop among these three guys, but Ironclad's got the same thing going at home. He just isn't able, of course, to put that production into his aggressive stack as quickly as Lib is able to fuel his defenses out of, most importantly, Leipzig, because the other two cities here in Hamburg and Berlin are across the river. Oh no, my apologies. Berlin is actually on the same side of the river, so an easy reinforce from out of there as well. So if this is all that Ironclad has for the moment, our Lib can definitely work on chipping away at this stack, and it seems though Ironclad's most of all concerned with minimizing his losses here, doesn't want to lose the investment that he made into this Archer Swordsman stack, and gets the hurt units out of there, looking to heal them back up. I wonder if these couple of units are going to be able to hold on to his beachhead in Munich, because if not, then this attack really didn't accomplish much for him. At least I failed to see what that would be. He might have traded favorably in shields, and I'm inclined to believe that he did so, because the stack attack end of turn out of Königsberg last turn did look a bit scary here. I'll try for another spy, maybe. Okay, that one worked. Let's check. Germany, please. All right. It's not supposed to be. I guess sometimes it just goes like that, but we get a nice look at Ironclad's army size. Look at this, 8 workers. That's way less than I would have expected, even though it's still more than his warriors. 19 archers and 14 swordsmen is really what Lib has to worry about. And look at this. This is only like 5 swordsmen that he's got aggressively positioned here. And what, 8 archers? So only like 1/3 of his army is... yeah, 1/3 of his army is only up there, so he's still got a good sizable chunk waiting to reinforce from home, or just building up for the next strike, while Lib is still working on clearing that first one out. I wish I could get a spy there onto the Germans as well. Doesn't look like that's gonna happen anytime soon though. So we'll have to make do with what we have, which is the production that we see coming out from him every turn, and whatever we see on top of the roads and cities. Now, what I said about Munich earlier, that it's a very vulnerable spot, I have to add that it's also the only vulnerable spot for Lib right now. So if he's able to hold on to that, he is pretty fine for the time being. It's just not guaranteed that he's going to be able to do that. Gets another horseman out over there, looking to pressure maybe, goes for an end of turn stack attack on that stack from Ironclad. It looks like he's finally cleared it out. Combat's still going through, but there he goes. Lib gets some nice rolls there. Also takes out another swordsman over here. Okay, he's being proactive. And Ironclad's now reinforcing out of Rostov and getting that road protected. You definitely don't want to lose control of that, because this is really the scales on which the game is tipped right now. The only point of pressure between the two civs. The only pass through which attacks are currently being funneled. This is a weird one. Why would you move on to that road? Not even end of turn. Maybe he's, I don't know, maybe he was just looking for some no, he didn't even get any. Maybe he got vision onto Rostov for a second, but I don't know. That looked like a weird suicide type move from that horseman. Not to criticize it too much though, because right now he's being beaten back at Munich, and Ironclad's reinforcement stack from the road can again move forward. I would be surprised if he moved into his land with that though, because actually maybe next turn gonna try to firmly re-establish control here at Munich. I'm also a little bit on the fence here about what is the ideal play for Lib here. He's got a fine stack on that road, and that's of course what he needs to hold on to. He can also block this tile, which is the easiest point of access to Munich, but that one actually doesn't matter all that much. As long as you don't want to use this road to attack Ironclad himself, I don't think this tile is all that important. Sure, make Ironclad use a couple of lose a couple of units trying to recapture this spot. I'm all for that. But I thought for a second, why not just move all your stack from here up onto this tile? But now that you think about it, this tile really doesn't matter all that much. It has very little strategic purpose for Ironclad, because if he wants to double move onto the road, he can do the same over that forest. And if he wants to double move onto Munich, he can do the same over that forest. So really, that road is not all that important, and most importantly, just hold on to this one. So I agree with Lib's choice to keep his stack consolidated there. Another couple of horsemen out north, just to maybe see if he can annoy Ironclad a bit more, force him to use up more stuff on defense. But of course, the sentry being still up here by Ironclad allows him to get the info necessary. And interesting, that's a double border expand by now out of Rostov, making it even harder for Lib to make aggressive moves onto that city. Both players here have stopped their expansion efforts completely, it seems like. Although that's going to be another city for Ironclad, if I'm reading that correctly. So he is still doing stuff, but this at least indicates to me that he doesn't want to plant any cities east of Rostov, because that's the double border expand is what you go for when you really want to set up a firm border area here. And without Lib getting that first border expand even, that's not only a big amount of score that Ironclad's getting there every turn, but it's also so much control, so much land in which Lib can't double move or heal. And that gives him some extra safety at home, whereas it also provides him with a more safer way to road up to Lib's cities, which again still haven't expanded. Some expands out of Munich and Königsberg, to be fair, would be pretty welcome. Let's see if Ironclad's got any galleys by now. Okay, maybe he's just not tacking. Maybe both of these guys have just decided to stop tacking at the traditional MPT tax. They are not actually going for middle age technology. That would be a bit surprising to me if they actually did that, but I mean, hey, maybe they just don't need it. Maybe endless stacks of swordsmen and archers are all that you need in the 1v1 variant of QC. I'm not 100% sure here. Oh, I'm just realized, super glad that all these guys are now joining up in the chat here. We've got a decent discussion going on here. Again, I'm a bit sorry for not being able to follow it. 10-minute delay and everything, as well as QC just being a little bit of a hectic mod to keep track of for me. But I'm glad that so many people find enjoyment in this HOLMGANG matchup, which is a big one, of course. These two guys and their animosity is well known in the community. And although I'm sure they appreciate each other on some level, this is definitely gonna hurt. Whoever loses this is definitely gonna go to bed angry tonight. I can promise you guys that, provided they actually go to bed. Remember, they're still gamers, so there's a decent chance they just, they just don't use sleep. But if they do, then that's gonna be a stinger for them, whoever ends up coming out as the loser here. And QC, of all things, such a particular 1v1 mod that Ironclad insisted on playing. There's no way he should lose in that. Of course, I mean, beating him in future would be the more prestigious accomplishment, but let's be real, after Repdeck did it like a million times, do you even still brag about that? That's the question. Is Ironclad just washed? Is Lib just gonna expose him right here on stage? We'll see. It's still 0-0. Nobody's scored a game victory yet. With the best of 3, 2 game wins. 2 QC maps, 1 gives you the victory. Both of these players still have a reroll for a map they don't like pre-turn 6, if they so choose. So for the next 2 maps, they can elect to do that once. Finally, a boat for Ironclad. It's incredibly weird the way he uses it, because he just shows it to Lib. He just presents it right here, despite knowing that Lib's horsemen are up there. So I'm not sure what that's all about. He just doesn't give anything about that. There goes the Kura. Doesn't have any galleys yet, so hasn't tagged map making, it seems. Also has a Kura down south that I must have missed earlier. Yeah, there we go. 2 Kuras. There we go. We like those units. We like the way they move, especially, and the terrain on which they move. While raving about the boats, though, I completely neglected the fact that Lib has taken complete control over the road again. Now, he needs the border expand in Munich in order to get the most crucial road here. And if he gets the border expand here, there's no way for Ironclad to reclaim this road tile without planting a city directly next to it, which he's not going to do in the very near future. So Lib really going all in here out of Munich, which, I mean, is fine, because Ironclad doesn't have any angles into the city right now. Takes control of this road back. As soon as the border expand comes out here in Munich, that would be his tile there permanently, that road, able to get the movement priority over Ironclad, who then could again respond with another city plan, but that is pretty risky, and I'm not sure you want to invest the type of defensive units that you need to do that safely, especially when you don't have the terrain eroded as much yet, and instead focus the worker moves on all the other ends of the land. Jesus, how great are these tropical fruits? Oh well, I guess with the irrigation, the 10 food is reasonable. But yeah, that's some great tiles down there. Expect another plant here, exactly, and that's what he's gonna do. So he's still expanding a bit, expanding on that on that score lead, excuse me, too, and he's still relatively safe there. Second time Leipzig is burning this game after Ironclad led the way with his St. Petersburg fire earlier. But I was going to say, I still like Ironclad spot a lot. He's up in productivity. I'm pretty sure he's up in score, and that gap is going to keep increasing if Lib doesn't get any border expands and doesn't plant any more additional cities. And Ironclad also has most of the important sentry positions. He's now lost control over the middle area. Lib slowly but surely pushing back mid and getting the mountains and roads there is going to help him a lot. Again, I can only stress this so many times, but the one important thing that he would need to consolidate the mid section power would be the border expand out of Munich. But yeah, who knows? If he gets that, he can double move out of the city into Rostov at any point in time, or just well, not even double move, maybe even just single move with horsemen there. So that would be a pretty powerful tile, a pretty powerful tool in your kit. Yeah, still no galleys there for Ironclad. I'm eagerly awaiting those. He's still just making. Remember, since the last time we checked there, the 8 workers, 7 warriors have stayed the same. He's only been making those archers and swordsmen in terms of land units, and he's been fighting over the road control with it. Army composition is a big point of this one, right? Because if you want to push into the enemy land, then you might need a ton of swordsmen to do so. But if you want to deter enemies from pushing, if you want to play more defensively, then you would stack more archers and less swordsmen, since they are cheaper and provide arguably, well, not even arguably, and provide just way more defensive power. Although no, scratch that. We're actually in a 3-player lobby, so the defensive bombard from archers isn't that ridiculous. It's not been adjusted to regular QC standards. So in a 3-player game, maybe archers aren't even. They are still more effective at defending than swordsmen, I would say, but maybe it's not even that much more, as you would initially maybe think as a CIV3 multiplayer player that doesn't do 1v1s all that much. Lib pushing forwards on all fronts here in the midsection. He goes in with the stack move, alright, so he wants that smoke at Rostov, and the end of turn stack attack response from Ironclad is just ruthless. Look at this as the turn lags out for a second. Oh my god, he just slammed down the sledgehammer here. My lord, that's a stack response. Lib moving in with the stack end of turn, and Ironclad was ready for it. Before any other action could be taken by the Germans, the stack gets smashed into pieces. And he now loses the road control that he had. And remember, with that road control also comes also comes the access to Munich there. It's really sad. I can't stress enough, before any sort of attacks, I really wish Lib would have gone for the border expand there at Munich. It's just it just would have made things so much easier, and quite a bit more difficult for Ironclad to defend as well. Quite less telegraph if you do it out of the city. Instead, Ironclad was able to, with a lightning quick response, beat back the stacks on all fronts, and this four-pronged assault here over the mountain range and the road in between ends up a disaster for the Germans. They must have lost tons of units there. Maybe I can get a spy down again. I'll wait one more turn. I'll wait one more turn and then try again, because I'm really interested how bad that just slashed their army. Let's check on Ironclad. He didn't lose all that much. Of course, he's gotten another turn of production since we last checked. But guys, look at this. He's lost a warrior. He's lost, I don't know, what did he have? Like 5 swordsmen and 5 archers or something? Oh my god, and that's the entire attacking stack that Lib had. Now, he's got some more units, right? It's not like he's completely out of unit now, and it's just gonna get rolled within the next 3 turns. But still, this is massive. This is, yeah, all the pressure being gone now, and this road is most certainly gonna fall back into Ironclad's hands, because no archers in the stack, just a bunch of 2 defenders. They're not gonna cut it against this stack once Ironclad decides to move forward with it. And also having the vision all around here. He's got the entire front covered. He's got boats out in the back to make boating difficult, although not impossible, because up here there's still an angle, although difficult to find. And probably not aware that Lib doesn't have any coastal cities, but in terms of land area, he's fully covered. They got the entire sentry line priority on all fronts, other than, of course, this middle section here that he's now about to take control over back. At least should be, with what he's got there. Another city burning for Lib. Is he slowly starting to lose the nerves here after that disastrous attempt of the attack? It looks like the tides have turned against him, maybe for good here in this first map of a best of 3. Ironclad definitely now smelling a potential victory here. That must have been a huge boost of morale there. Again fending off Lib's attack, and this time around such a serious one. I'll try again for the spy now to Berlin. I have a bad feeling about it somehow, because it's been a rough go at it today. I guess. Alright. It's alright. Just forget about it, right? I didn't even want that anyways. Okay, that's what you get for setting up a poor spectating setup, I guess. Look at me. All laugh at me, guys. Right, God. I hope my teas calmed or cooled down to a reasonable temperature now, because I'm really starting to get a little bit of a dry throat. Still pretty hot. Damn it. All right. Things look calm here, but I expect this to be the calm before the storm. Ironclad now has the growth as well as military advantage here. If he keeps it calm. Lib is trying to sneak through down south here. Of course, Ironclad realizes this. He's also now moving defenses up to Krasnoyarsk. And he's definitely not going to die to a couple of horsemen there. But Lib is diversifying his strategy, which is probably down to a little bit of desperation here. Because, again, he's been outgrown, and he's also been out-militaried, out-armied now. This is definitely only going to get worse from here, as you're just not able to keep up anymore at this rate, at least by my estimation. And yeah, maybe oh no, never mind that. All right, all right. Yeah, he's still got his swordsman up here. I'd typically expect him to withdraw those maybe, because you know you could heal in your own land, but actually there's only one hurt unit in there actually, so maybe better to keep this road to make double moves a lot harder for him. That he can't just double into Munich or onto this road without using horsemen at least, which he doesn't have any anymore, which Lib of course can't know for sure, but at least strongly suspect, as he hasn't seen any in quite a while. And yeah, just to confirm, there's none here for Ironclad. 2 settlers, 2 curas, but nothing too moving. Well, nothing too moving on land, I should say. So Lib's still rather safe there at home with Munich empty. It's not all that costly. But yeah, holding this road is probably still good while you can. I just don't think that it is long-term viable here. Again, bolstering it with a couple of archers to make losses harder on your opponent for trying to move through eventually would probably be a good idea. Lips continuing to make a couple of horsemen, indicating to me again that he needs that 2-move threat. That he's not going to be able to just build a bigger stack than Ironclad, which of course would be pretty insane to assume you were able to do at this point with the discrepancy in land score and everything. He's moved on top here. Ironclad's sentries have been cleared out, and the Kurak has also moved on. So he doesn't know that this is going on, but he probably suspects it, because that's the only reason Lib would have for clearing out the hill up north. Couple of horsemen are being able to be snuck through here. Now, with the border expand out of Yakutsk, the crazy angles aren't that great anymore. He can really only double move onto St. Petersburg and Yakutsk, which are very easily defensible cities for Ironclad if he reacts in time. He's also going to have a couple of units in there by default, now realizing that this play has a chance of occurring. And yeah, instead of worrying all that much about what's going on up north, he's taken control back over the middle area. Also gets the hill back here, although that doesn't give him intel over the over the horsemen that are being stacked up there in the north. So still, that's maybe an ace up the sleeve for Lib, who yeah, with those 4 horsemen has a stack that Ironclad doesn't know of, although I can't see this being able to do anything meaningful on the offensive front, and he's not going to be able to reinforce it with more horses anytime soon, at least not before I assume Ironclad is about to take back that hill or make a push into Munich. Remember, the city is empty. Lib really doesn't have a lot of units there. In fact, I'm almost positive we're seeing about, well, I'm not sure, more than 50% of its units for sure. He can't have that many in Königsberg, which is the only city that still has units in it. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's nothing in there underneath that swordsman. So yeah, this is getting scary at this point for Lib. Maybe he's just abandoning Munich as well, and yeah, reconsolidating his forces at Königsberg. That is definitely a possibility here, as he doesn't seem all that concerned with defending Munich, because that's not all that likely to happen anymore. However, with losing that city, he loses the last well, unseen way into Ironclad's backline. As soon as that city turns Russian, and you're not able to take it back, which Lib won't be, the only points of attack you're gonna have left is Vladivostok, Krasnoyarsk, and Rostov. And Vladivostok isn't even realistic with division being pushed so far out here. So it's really only those 2 cities and Munich. It's gonna be really hard for Lib to take any cities off. He doesn't make the double move happen now. So this is definitely weird. He goes for the reinforcement into Munich. The road gets blocked by Ironclad. Lib is able to recover it, but with what units are you gonna defend Munich here? I thought the city had been abandoned. But this is a rough look. Look at this. There's archer stack for Ironclad up there against Lib's forces. He's still expecting more to potentially come out from the back line here as Lib moves a couple of units up, but it's just not going to be enough. And now you've kind of shown your hand, right? Because if you had just abandoned Munich, maybe you could have made him believe that you've still got a formidable force at Königsberg. But now throwing a couple of units in there to defend Munich really alerts Ironclad of your weakness, especially after seeing Königsberg be empty. He knows exactly how many units you've got in Munich because he's seen all of them move in there. I don't think this play matters a lot anymore because at this point Ironclad should really never lose this map anymore. But still, maybe that's one angle that you could have taken. Again, I don't claim to be an authority on QC strategy, but maybe that's just one suggestion I would have made here. Lib's horsemen still wreaking havoc down here in the south, although not pressuring anything, sadly. Not gonna get through into the backline either, as Ironclad has the luxury units in order to block everything off. And yeah, Lib's horsemen still haven't moved here. Maybe he's gonna go with them end of that turn, look for something onto the Ironclad's northern city spot. Yeah. Munich's just not gonna be long for this world, I'm afraid. Tough to really say. Okay. Oh Lord. Sadly, I don't have the spy on Lib, but it wouldn't show that much anymore anyways. This is just overwhelming at this point, and cities are gonna start to go down here. Without a doubt, there's no debate about it. Ironclad's gonna move this stack up end of turn. It doesn't matter that these guys are hurt. Please, just move him in there and get Munich done with. You can heal him up once the city is yours. There goes Lib with the double move. He's really waiting. Although not to the max end of turn, he's going up now. Ironclad hasn't reacted yet, but there goes Lib's move. He's waiting for the reinforce out of St. Petersburg, potentially, but it's not coming. Ironclad is just positive. He's not moving anything there. He's just 100% confident that he's got whatever he needs to defend this. And he does. Lib not able to take out the city's Ironclad, really. He just played super calm. He didn't move any units in there at all, going for the maximum mental damage inflicted here. Takes it out in the aftermath. And now he's gonna set his eyes on the offensive front. This time around goes for the pillage south of Munich. Not really necessary because I don't see a way Lib takes this tie back if you really want to hang on to it. I'm not sure what this stack here accomplishes. Yeah, this is a curious one that I'm not quite sure of what the intent actually is, but whatever, just holding onto this road here out of Munich maybe would have been a play, although you probably wouldn't have gotten it into your territory either. So maybe it didn't matter anyway there. I'm not, yeah, I probably so or so wouldn't have mattered in the end. If Lib had somehow had another force back in Heidelberg, then maybe he could have retaken the road. So I don't 100% disagree on that. And it's getting the grip is tightening here. We can see Lib not too content with this game state anymore. I'm not gonna need to do any more spy missions here, I feel, because yeah, Ironclad, he's still waiting though. He's healing up those units. He knows that there's no more reinforcement able to get into Munich. So he can also just take his time and heal up the units. I mean, I guess that is true, but could also just take the city, right? There's no more than 3 or 4 units in there. I'm not sure how many there were exactly, but I'm also pretty confident it doesn't matter. So you're not gonna defend 50 with whatever it is that's in there, despite the walls. That's just not gonna happen. Is Lib gonna try and get another spearman in there over the mountain here? Or what exactly is going on there? Yeah, Ironclad saying hello, moving up the stacks on from Rostov onto the tile outside of Munich, and the units that used to be there move on to the road here just to yeah, cut the supply lines, I assume. And this stack will take the first city next turn. We're finally gonna see some folks go down here. And remember, it's still QC, so 2 city elimination. But this first map is all but one for Ironclad here. He's about to take the 1-0 lead in this series here. We can smell it already. He's now only gotta play it, or bring it home safely. So the turn's about to end. What can Lib do to throw him off? Maybe I don't see anything. But otherwise, Ironclad's just gonna start taking heads now. Munich one final time with the fire erupting. Same thing happening in Vladivostok though. And there we go. Always fucking faster. Looks like he's got outsped on the horsemen down south as well, I think. Though there really wasn't any danger there, if I'm correct on that. I think one horseman would save the day. Well, it wouldn't. There's at least 2 in both these cities, I'm pretty sure. And there we go. Has the stack attack commenced? I think it has. What's going on there? Let's check this out. I don't see damage going through though, so oh yeah, it's just these single ones that are being attacked right now. Alright, here we go. Battles in Munich. Despite the promotion for Lib, it's gonna get rough there. What's he gonna be able to do? There we go, down to 1 HP, or 1 defense units rather. Ironclad about to take the first of the 2 cities that he needs, and there we go. Munich is Russian. A horrific sight for any Germans on this stream. And there we go. Lib concedes the first map. City being raised, so at least we don't have to see Munich in Russian hands. But that's the first map victory here. Congrats to Ironclad. He takes the first map of this series. And this is gonna be an interesting one already as I reboot Steam and get ready for game 2 to come up. Alright. I start a timer up and I go into the transition screen maybe. That's what I'm planning on right now. So we can get into the next map here. Alright. That is a tough one for Lib early, but remember it's a best of 3. He still has his map reroll as well as Ironclad, so that is fine. Alright. There we go, getting Civ started back up, and I actually just go into a small waiting screen here in a second as we set up for the second game. Oh, hold on a sec, I can also maybe fix the spectator or the spy issues here that I had early. Maybe I can enhance that. Okay. Doesn't really matter. I just go with that. I'm not gonna get a perfect spy setup here, but I'll be able to do something. Lib also asking for a short intermission. So yep, we'll go to a small pause screen. I'm not sure how long this break will be yet, but I put up a small timer to start with, and then I'll enhance it if we needed more time. We'll see about that. So I'll see you guys in a couple. quick update here. We're not quite in the lobby yet for game 2, so yeah, we're still waiting for everybody to join up. Let's see if we can get that lobby full here. And all right, waiting still, of course, to get the lobby full, but it can't be that much longer because we just got wanted to do a quick little pause here, a short break in between. But I haven't heard confirmation from Ironclad as to when exactly he's going to continue. He is still online though, so he just hasn't said anything. A couple of minutes. We'll see. We'll see how long it'll take. Just as an update, we are still waiting for that, so could be a couple more minutes. That's just where we're at right now. Oh yeah, good thing I noticed. Can I also adjust the the score and the interface of the in-game match up? Oh, Ironclad's here. Yep, there we go. We're all back in the lobby. We just have an intruder that I would really hate to kick. So I'll see if he's so kind to leave on his own accord. Otherwise, I have to accelerate that process. All right. 1-0 down is Lib though. Just to recap, it's a best of 3. One more win for Ironclad seals the series. Lib needs to win 2 straight to take the W here. Each game is double ELO wager, so that's something. And of course, the ultimate prize is getting the bragging rights of the victory here. Lib gonna try his hardest to avert a 2-0 sweep. I'm sure about that. I'll boot the intruder now. And I'll go into the second screen. Therefore, probably not going to be that much longer until we are back in action here. I'll load up the next map. Hope it goes fine. Everything looks fine. Now we just need these guys to check in and then of course reload for the spectator mode setup. I guess I'll close the lobby to any intruders again, just to be safe. Okay. Oof. All right, we have one check mark. I'll start the timer again then. I'll assume we'll be back on the way reasonably soon. Oops. Okay. switching the scenes, and I'll go back into mute for just a second before we get into game 2 here. Thanks for staying tuned, and look forward to more action. Okay, guys, we're back. We're back. We're already in the reload. It just took us a little bit longer to conclude that first turn, since one of the two parties took quite a lot of time to think here. Let's see if it ends up paying off for them. But we're now headed into the reloads. We've already reloaded the file. We just need the final check marks to come in. And I've just pressed the launch button. So we're about to get into game 2, folks. Be hyped. Be hyped. Alright, the spectator mode has worked out just fine. I'll try to get my spies set up. That would also be quite cool if that worked out early. Spy, spy. Hey, it worked. Okay, hype. Here we go, guys. Into the next game we jump. Now, both of these guys still have their map reroll available. In case I haven't explained it that often yet, once in this series, every player can elect to play a map or just to get a new map. If they tell me that they want a new map before turn 6, they can do that without punishment. They just lose their one map reroll. Kind of like a challenge in the NBA, where you have one per game. This time you just have one in the entire series here, one map reroll in this time, in this entire series. Both players have planted their cities now. I'll try to get that spy in Andromont too. Nice. Got both the spies off turn 1. Some great RNG there. Let's hope the game doesn't get re-rolled. But I think both players are again going to be rather happy with what they got. We have this time around Ironclad on the Germans, and it's a lip this time around on the Celts, not the Russians. But yeah, at least the German party switched hands, and we've now the Celts on their nice little river here. Both have a river plains wheat. I promise you guys, I'm not making these maps up. It's literally just random maps that I delete the other spawn locations from and place my spectator island in the corner. Jeez, will you stop switching off of wealth? Jesus. Alright. After some stern words with my capital of Washington, the Washington city is of course the capital of the Iroquois state, as we all know. It's not that far off actually in terms of geography, is it? But yeah, let's focus on the action more so. The Celts, again, Lib ended up walking in turn 1 here. He got that city out a turn late, but it's still a great spot here on the river with the wheat, of course. You're never going to complain about that. Ironclad has got the same type of setup though. The only issue for him is the wheat is across the river. It's still adjacent to it though, so it's a better commerce tile. Then, of course, he has the wines, which are really nice tiles as well. It's got 3 of them up here. Some oases too, so he's got some real nice land to grow into. I like all of this. This is some great land to expand on. Whereas Lib on the other side, he's got some nice BGs. He's got some rivers and stuff to make use of. What's the Discord alert here? Okay. Sorry, I hope you didn't hear that on stream too loud, but it doesn't matter. So, what I was saying is in terms of land, yeah, Ironclad has some great land to expand into. Where's the rest, though? Oh. Oh. Okay, it's pretty meaningful. I just realized now that it's pretty meaningful that I got screwed out of my spectator civ. I didn't think it would matter, but yeah, it ended up making it so that I can't see the rest on the map. That's a bit problematic. Yeah, I'll tell you guys once now, and maybe a couple of more times. I'll correct the next map in case it's screwed up in the same way. But that's of course super sad. You guys should be able to see the rest. So again, I'll mention this a couple of times throughout this game, I suppose. But we have horses here, right? We have horses here, and then another horse here for Ironclad. That's the horses here and here. And Ironclad's iron? Well, he's got no iron. Okay, so that's a downside to his spot that he of course can't see before turn 6, but the nearest iron to him is here. That's definitely bad news there if you're Germans and try to go for a warrior upgrade or something. His nearest iron is this one, so he's only got horses to work with. That's terrible news for him. And he kind of knows that there's not that many mountains that iron could even spawn on. Although there's a couple of this one, these ones. I guess there's a couple of ones. On the other hand, what's Lib got? Alright, his spot is looking much better. He's got horses here. And an ironwork city, but that doesn't matter. He's got the iron there on this mountain. So horses and iron, just to make it clear. Horses, iron, iron. And no iron over here for Ironclad. That's definitely terrible news. I'm not a QC pro, but I can tell you that much. You don't want to have that happen. Again, for the next... Dude, why do I get random text all the time? I feel like I should know this. I feel like I should know this. Why? How does this happen? Whatever. Maybe they'll give me ironworking eventually. That would be nice. Maybe I should give myself the Great Library so I attack alongside these guys. I'll just queue the Colossus and we'll see if, yeah, because I don't want to constantly get warriors. I'll fix it for the next map, I'll promise you. So that's the last comments I'm going to make about my scuffed spectator setup. We'll now focus on the action. We're in turn 7, so no more map rerolls. Both these players have committed to this map. If you want to get out of it now, you have to do it via victory or defeat. And the latter is something that Lib cannot afford. Again, he's down 0-1 in this best of 3 series. One more loss gives Ironclad the victory. And again, neither of these guys can afford to lose this battle. For their own prestige, for their own ego's sake. At least that's how I decided to be. Now, the good thing, quote unquote, for both these guys is it's really unclear where their opponent is. Again, probably for Ironclad less so. He's gonna figure out pretty quickly that there's not gonna be anybody north or west of him. He's just gonna know that south or east, somewhere there's gotta be Lib. So his scouting is gonna be a little more straightforward. For Lib, Ironclad could literally be anywhere. It could be over here to the east, over here to the west. He could probably even be down south. So his scouting is a little bit more complicated. He's already sent out some warriors though, in order to get a better idea of what's going on there. In terms of land to expand to, I favor Ironclad's land. He's got some real nice land. It's a little bit more condensed though. He's got less area than his opponent, who can access the entire backside of this map pretty much. He can just outgrow and outscore him if he wants to. So I'd say this map is heavily Lib favored, with the advantage to Ironclad in the mid game once he's settled all his great land. If he can build up a powerful enough stack to kill Lib with, that might end up being his only realistic win condition. I'll check for any saltpeter if by any chance there's any around. But no, Ironclad doesn't even have any saltpeter either. So that is some hard to swallow news for this guy. Luckily, it seems like Lib doesn't have any anyways. So there's only 2 on this map. 2 saltpeter, that is. It seems they're both sort of out of reach, although Lib could definitely road up to the one. So again, I can only say this map is favored to Lib in all regards other than the mid-game expansion land where Ironclad's got some real nice bonus res and everything going on. Let's see if he can make that work, or if Lib's map generation is what allows him to equalize this series. We're still in the early stages though, so I'm not going to call the victor here just because the land is advantageous to one party. We've seen in countless tournament as well as regular CIV3 games that the team with the better land doesn't necessarily have to come up on top, not even if it's a 1v1 scenario, because human error is still something to account for, especially in a high-stakes environment like this, where identifying the easiest and most surefire way to victory isn't always that easy. Is that off river? I'm pretty sure this... Is this on river? It says 1 gold. Well, every city tiles has 1 gold. No, this is not on river. I don't like this plant. Maybe I'm tripping though. Oh no, actually, I think I'm actually tripping, right? Agricultural isn't a thing in QC, is that right? Is agricultural not a thing in QC because it would be too OP with the early growth? I think that's right. So never mind that. You can see I'm a very qualified and professional QC caster here. Not sure what the Spearman is doing. Why would you make Spearman early? Oh, I guess he didn't have Warrior Code yet. That makes some sense, I guess. Warrior Code, well, you'd always make the Archer instead of the Spearman, I assume, but for some reason he made a Spearman. He's just walking out there to Ironclad, although he doesn't even know that Ironclad's there, so interesting choice, but I guess there's going to be some rationale behind it. Lip's going to explore all of his backline land, and he's going to realize he doesn't have to fight Ironclad here. If he can just hold this choke point of 4 or 5 tiles, he can settle the entire map without being in danger. Now, the only counterpoint to that is that Ironclad's going to have a ton of boating opportunities if that's what he ends up doing, right? If Lip just spams cities everywhere, which he's not the player to do, he doesn't like playing for late game city spam. But if he were to, if he took this so seriously that he would exploit the advantages of this map to their fullest, he would then have to make sure to protect all those coastal boatable towns from attack. Again, first priority would be to bottleneck IC into this western peninsula, and that should be rather easy to do with some sentries up here, some military priority. And again, Ironclad not having explored a lot yet, he doesn't know what he has coming. I don't think. That is a tough fate to yeah, to stare down at. Again, the issue maybe for Lib here is that all this beautiful backline land is very thin, right? It's not a thick continent. If this was a thick continent, if this landmass was filled, that would be great news for Lib, because in that case, he could just settle inland and then have sentries at the outside skirts of the coast, so that Ironclad couldn't even surprise land him. But with this being so slim, there's really not a spot on the map that you could, or there's not many spots on the map you can safely settle without being able to be landed by horsemen and surprise attacked. So actually the map isn't that OP for city spamming because you are pretty easily boatable, but still you'll always take the 80% of the map that has all the rest over the decent looking 20% of the map with only horses. Unless I'm wrong here, I would love to be corrected on this because it would be pretty fun to find out if actually there is an angle where Ironclad's land is favored. Looks like he's gonna get that hut here, even although Lib might end up outspeeding him to it with the Spearman if he still has a move left on that. I'm not 100% sure of that. Huh. Not 100% again. I'm thinking about it, but yeah, I think he might still have a move left on this, but again, not positive. All right. So for now, Ironclad still has the city lead. Looks like Lib has again gotten a couple more military units than his opponent, but Ironclad also with the Spearman. So maybe I'm misjudging the QC meta here a bit, especially due to this being a 3-player lobby. So the Archer defensive bombard being considerably less OP than it usually is. And apparently Ironclad's really gonna outspeed him to this, or not outspeed him, just get to this hut first. Good news for him. Take that bounty. Maybe he's gonna get attacked, actually. No, he gets that move off. Lib also... Wait. Do I get attack every time they take a hut? Is that how that works? I'll take it. I mean, nice. I see the iron now. Great, they're doing a great job for the spectator player here. And as I told you guys, here's the iron. Oh, true, I can just tech it. Oh, that's so smart. I can just actually tech it. You're 100% correct. All right. I didn't even think of that, but I can actually just tech the rest that I need or the tax, excuse me, that I need for res. How did I not think of that? That's insane. All right, small brain up here, getting bailed out by chat once more. Interesting though, that Ironclad's actually at the double the city number compared to Lib. And again, please let me know if agricultural actually just doesn't exist as a trade here in QC. If there's actually no food bonus for planting on rivers and fresh water, because that's what I think is the case, that it actually just doesn't give you any benefits. Lord. There we go. Here's my wheel. I'll turn the tech back off. And there you guys go. You can see the horses and the iron. That's gotta be all for you. All that you need. Lip getting his plant this turn, although he could also just walk once more. He knows that Ironclad's nowhere around, so he couldn't afford to walk more. Doesn't decide to do so. Takes the plant on the spot. It's a decent city, I guess. A couple of BGs up here that he can work. And it is coastal too, so that's the best part about it in my books. Over on the aggressive front, Lib, of course, again, this time around, the first player to spot his opponent. Can get a small picture of what Ironclad's got going on. He's super outpaced in terms of cities. Ironclad with the wines here as well. That's just so much food that he's got to work with. So he's gonna get the early growth advantage there onto Lib. Now, if Lib gets a little bit of vision over his land, he might realize that there's no iron around, or at least that Ironclad has super limited space to expand towards. So it will be very useful for Lib to identify his edges in this one early. And maybe he's actually gonna hold his expansion here and be content with seizing these sentry mountains. Ironclad gives up his favorable sentry position on this mountain to take away the barbarian camp. I agree with that choice. That's a decent enough move, even if you end up losing it now. He even outspeeds, wow, the confidence to go for that move, not to give up the mountain. I'm not even sure that was that great a move for him, because I mean, it is a good move. You just like having that mountain, but it's not all that important because Lip can just take another one here. There's so many of them that give him a great position, and I would actually prefer Lip going onto this mountain before he ends up healing this spearman up, because if Ironclad blocks one of these mountains, which are really nice tiles to control, if you wanna get more intel or just pressure him, then yeah, it's gonna be harder to get control over them. So maybe just go there before filling up that health bar, because Ironclad's not gonna attack into a spearman on a mountain. I can't see that happening. Although a 4 HP archer would have 50-50 chances. Am I right on that? I think so. It's about 50-50. You attack 4 HP archer to 2 HP spearman, not fortified on mountain. So maybe right to just heal it up a bit before. But again, I'll just take the risk and take one of these mountains because they're just so tempting over there. Is there another settler out yet for Lib? We have the luxury of having this screen here, this around, and we can see it's just Germany with an all-around advantage. They have the same amount of units, but 2 more workers for Ironclad and 2 more cities out already. So he's up to a big start here. Again, probably these wines being a huge edge for him in terms of early growth is what I'd assume. So yeah, the land is definitely a beauty there. And Lip did end up doing what I recommended. I'm glad he chose to do so. Takes the mountain position over Königsberg and gets yeah, some decent intel, some decent vision over here. But yeah, Ironclad is gonna have to work hard at denying. Now he's got that veteran archer, which next turn, oh, this is even across a river. Yeah, you don't want to hit this. Next turn, this spearman's gonna be fortified. Fortified across river on mountain. You don't hit this with a single archer. That's gonna take a while to clear out. And without any iron that he's gonna have access to, or without no iron, since he doesn't have access to any, I don't really see Ironclad clearing out this hill all that soon. Or this mountain, rather. That being said, Lib still is behind in his expansion. He does have enough good city spots still left up, so it's not like He's forced to halt city production, and yeah, he just needs to make sure not to fall too far behind in growth or military early, that he can get overwhelmed, because he's probably at this point got a pretty good idea of how this map sort of looks, and he knows that Ironclad's kind of boxed in up there unless he suspects the map wrapping around on the backside, which it traditionally doesn't tend to do on QC, other than maybe this short part here that extends sometimes over the border of the map, but there's no wrap around here, right? That's what I'm getting at. So, yeah, how's Lip gonna play this? Is he gonna city spam actually, which would be quite advisable here. We'll find out over the next couple of dozen turns. Border expand here again in Berlin. Interesting. That seems kind of early. Must have went for some sort of... Nah, he couldn't have gone for any culture buildings. Wow, is that just how quickly buildings capitals expand? Second border expand by turn 18? Or does he actually have a culture building there that I'm missing? That would be surprising to me. Oop, there's the war declaration as I reset my Colossus build, just not to screw that one up. Germany gets the war declaration, and wow, he did actually just attack into the spearmen across river onto the mountain. Maybe Lib hadn't fortified it yet, but that's still a below 50% chance. Surprised he would take that role. I would at least make 2 archers to give myself a better chance and not waste the first one in case it fails, but whatever. Guess he chose to do that. Interesting move up here. He's probably just going to plant here. That's the only reason as to why you would walk onto this mountain. Yeah, this plant here, which is odd. I would have expected... Oh, well, actually, maybe this one could have been nice. I don't know, but this one is probably the best one, actually. If you can work this food tile and maybe a forest. I don't know. I'm not a QC guy. Sorry, guys, for trying to analyze minute details like that. On the backside, does Lip still have his warrior out there? No, he's just scouted as far as this, I believe. Still, he knows at this point that he's got all the rest that he needs, I'm pretty sure. He's got them pretty nearby too, so he's not going to have to fight over them with Ironclad, who on the other side is going to have to do a little bit more lifting there to get to his strategic resources. And dude, I just have no clue why I keep getting these random texts. I don't think somebody even popped a hut this turn. Did they? I don't know, dude. It's just, the game is just a mystery to me. I'm just a noob, I assume. Alright, Ironclad, now only with that 1 unit on him. This is all... Oh, I hope I didn't con there. This is all that Lib's got, all that Ironclad's currently having to worry about. Not in terms of kill threat, of course. I'm not that ridiculous. It's just... yeah, just the information that he's giving away is currently confined to that one, yeah, mountain warrior who's holding on strong there for Lib, his kind of ambassador. And on the other side, Ironclad's now also working on getting a couple units over there for intel, just figuring out how far away Lib is, what type of land he might have, what type of rests there are. Maybe he's also looking for his own iron. I assume that's what he's doing, because he's spreading out in all directions right now, and he's gonna find out that there's simply none there. And I can't wait for his reaction to that, because he is a very ready chat user that is going to make his amusement heard here. And that's the beauty of random maps. I hope you guys get a good laugh out of it as well. Oh lord, alright. The city count has evened out for now. Ironclad still has that settler out here, of course. Let's check in once more. No settlers for the Celts, 4 workers. Compare that to Ironclad's 14 workers. Okay. It's a bit excessive, some would say. More than half of his units are workers. I hope he's paying them well, not some... oh god, I would... Yeah, no, never mind that. Yeah, no, never mind. That's definitely some high quality labor forces there. Nothing to add to that. And there he goes. Munich planted. Looks like was pre-eroded. Nicely done there, and gonna get Heidelberg up there too. Dude, it's not Burg. Whoever named that city. We're gonna have to have a stern talk about that because that is ugly. Heidelberg up north, and Munich this time around, at least not the northernmost cities of the German land this time around. Ironclad being a little bit more geographically accurate there. God bless him, played in Ting Heidelberg before, or Munich before Heidelberg, because that otherwise would have been the northern tipping point as well. Which is not actually how you use the word tipping point, but it just sounds fancy, so why not? All right, congrats. Nah. It's Tuesday. Well, folks, I want to congratulate myself at this point for coming up with the glorious idea to host a competitive match on a Tuesday in a game that utilizes Steam as its engine. Really a brilliant idea there. Can't state it any other way. So we'll go into a break. We'll just wait for this Steam drop to be over. All right, here we go. Putting up that screen. I'll mute. I'll be back when the Steam is back, and this is gonna be fun, dude. Oh Lord. Okay, here we go. We're about to get back in here, or we're actually getting back in here. Um, okay. I'm loading in the file. This one. Okay, there we go. Everybody's in, and we're loading. Oh no, shit. Dude, what? Oh god, Lib just told us in the lobby that he went Anarchy by accident. I'm not sure how serious it is, but if he actually went Anarchy turn 1 or something, that would explain why he lagged behind this much in growth early. That would explain it, and that would also pretty much completely exonerate him from the blame, because, I mean, what you're gonna do? Sometimes that just happens. And that goes to show about how tough it can be on your mental, that you get a little bit irritated at some points, maybe, in these high pressure environments, and Ironclad's gotten a big lead off of that. He's already up 16 score. He's got the bigger land area, and he's also got the worker army, of course, not to be underestimated. Look at this, 3 archers for both. We have 9 more workers for Ironclad. We have 2 less workers for him, but he's got 2 less warriors, sorry, but he's got an extra spearman, because he of course killed Lib's spearman on that mountain earlier, if you guys remember. I'm just glad we're back, and I'm hoping there's yeah, I'm just hoping there's gonna be, oh dude, what am I even saying? There's not gonna be another crash, that's what I'm saying. Okay, all right, that's just how it'll be. I trust that no more Steam crashes are gonna be happening today. And again, in case you're just joining us after that intermission, I'll be yeah, just repeating again, we're in a best of 3 QC between Ironclad and Lib. This is of course part of my HOLMGANG series, meaning it's a battle for honor and also for double the elo in every match here. And yeah, it's just a grudge match between Ironclad and Lib, because they are definitely yeah, what? I'm not sure what they're talking about now, because they are definitely hot-headed when facing each other in game, as well as in conversation. So we're enjoying that spectacle, which is this one. Ironclad up 1-0 in this series. If he wins one more map, he closes out Lib, and if Lib manages, or if Lib wants to manage to win the series, he needs to win 2 straight maps. Both of these players still have a map reroll available to them. So if we end up loading into a game after this one, in case Ironclad doesn't win, that is, if we load into another map and one of these guys decides they don't like it before turn 7, before turn 6, excuse me, before turn 6, then they get to pick a new map, or they just get to roll a new map. Of course, they don't get to pick the map. I mean, yeah, but yeah, that's just what I'm saying, right? If you are not happy with your map pre-turn 6, you can call for a reroll once in this series. And since this is the second matchup already, if there is a third one, then that would be the last possible chance for either of these guys to use their rerolls. Yeah. So far that's not going to be of relevance for this one though, because we're way past the 6 turn mark. 21 turns into this game. And yeah, Lib has lagged behind in the expansion, presumably because he went into Anarchy by accident. He's got some fine land though. Another settler out now. He's slowly getting a couple cities out himself as well, although of course lagging behind Ironclad, who's already got another settler going here. He's, oops, nope. Somehow, yeah, I must have the Great Library effect on my palace or something. I'm not sure why that would be. I've got the intelligence agency, maybe that's what does it, but I don't know, dude. This is just weird. Yeah, I don't know. This is a little bit of a messed up one. I've checked the scenario file and I couldn't find the mistake in it, but it doesn't matter at this point. If I just end up randomly getting text that they already have. If anything, that's a positive for us because that lets us know what text both of them have already checked. It seems like that extends to writing so far. Alright, good news. Nuremberg has just been planted. Happy about that. That's where I'm currently residing. That's going to be Ironclad's first and only res city of this game. Those horses are all that he's got to work with. Remember, from before the steam dump, the closest iron to Ironclad is this one. So probably gonna play this entire game without any. Maybe this road is actually just his attempt at getting to that iron. Maybe he just wants to brute force it. But I don't regard that as realistic. So yeah, I wouldn't bet on it for Ironclad there. The Celts down here for Lib. I like his spot more in theory. He's got a lot of land to grow into. He's got all the strategic res. Only issue is he's pretty far behind from the start, as we've already established. But the choke point is just 5 tiles wide between these two civs. There's a pretty yeah, it's pretty feasible to just block this off if you just want to grow for a while, and that might yeah, for at least for some time, right? Eventually the opponent's gonna break through a 5-tile wall, but still that is a pretty slim choke point for QC. So potential there to buy yourself some time. And of course the boating opportunities on this map are also pretty good since the land is pretty slim, and yeah, that allows usually for a bunch of possible landing spots, although boating hasn't really been a factor in this series yet. Although maybe with writing having been tagged by both these guys, maybe somebody is actually looking to go into map making here. I don't know which of these texts would otherwise be interesting. Maybe literature, if Ironclad's looking for border expanse. Maybe some libraries could be interesting to him as the Germans. Of course, that scientific trade, always good for that. Other than that, I'm not really sure why you would, yeah, what other than map making one would be grabbing out of that writing tech section. Another city finally for Lib, this time on freshwater, which again I don't think Alesia was. Look at this, this doesn't look like fresh water to me. So yeah, I don't love that plant. This one here looks a bit more ideal. Either way, galley out for Ironclad. All right, I love it. Okay, this is way earlier than I would have expected. This is probably just an empty one, right? Because he couldn't really have anything on there other than like archers. But still, it's the first galley I see this series, which automatically makes it cool. Maybe he's just going to use it for scouting, which would be useful, right? Because you would obviously want to know if Lib has the opportunity to boat you. At least as long as you feel like you're superior on land combat. There's not, yeah, there's really just the appeal in boats would then only be to secure yourself against a cheesy landing. So again, I'm always a fan of boats, so hard agree on that galley build. A Carlot coming in here, looking for some future players. I respect it. We need to get more future games going. I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry. I mean, I have nobody to apologize to in that regard, but I'm sad that I can't participate in more future games lately myself. So definitely go join Carlot if you feel like playing some future, and maybe want to keep my stream open in the background to see how this wait. I mean, This warrants a question mark. The double burn. Nothing else to say there really. He's earned that question mark. Oops, my stream's still running in the background. Oh god, that scared me. Okay, I'll just announce in the Discord that the stream is live again. Give me a sec to announce it there. Okay, just announced it there. And there we go. People should be aware. Maybe I'll post it in the Steam group too. All right. Maybe, yeah. No, never mind. I'll just announce it in Discord. That should be enough people. Probably still somewhat hanging around in the Twitch chat here. All right, back to the action. Ironclad's boating here. He's probably really just looking for vision there, which I would agree with. That is a reasonable play. I could look to see if there's maybe next turn I'll try to steal military plans and see if there's any units on that boat. I could also just ask him in text, but that would probably be more distracting than that military plan pop up. So yeah, maybe just steal the plans eventually if I get too curious, but maybe we bait. As long as he doesn't approach Lib's land, there's no reason to look for any units in there anyways. I'm just curious the way he ended up scouting here. If he really was just worried about boating, he might just have parked it here or something. But maybe he's looking to get some cheeky units off. Maybe he's looking for a rest city as well. I don't know. Maybe he's looking to harbor some iron. No clue, because he's at this point established that he's not gonna get any iron in this game without getting past Lip here, which again just doesn't seem feasible. Doesn't seem realistic. Can't see that happening though. Ah. Oh. Alright, good to know. Rabbit argues that you can't go into anarchy if you don't have any other governments enabled. I'm not sure that's right, but if it is, then maybe Lib couldn't actually have anarchy. And yeah, I mean that would be good for him, I guess, but interesting. Good to know at least, if that is correct. Maybe in QC there is some other government available from the start. I don't think so though. So no, yeah, it's a mystery. It remains a mystery there. Don't know yet, but whatever the reason is, he was behind in the expansion phase, and he still is definitely. Let's check how many cities do we got here. We got 2, 4, 7, 9 for Ironclad, and we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 for Lib as well. Okay, maybe he's caught up in that regard. 2 settlers for IC, 1 for Lib. He's not that behind anymore. Ironclad, of course, got a ton more workers, so he still has more population out on the field. I'm positive about that. Population size on average also just way higher across the board. And we have our answer here. There are units on this boat, at least that one warrior. Does he have a settler on there as well? Is this just the rest city? There might be, dude. There might just be a settler on there, because I only see this one, and he's got 2 in the field, allegedly. So, yeah. No, never mind. Here's the second one. He's gonna plant that hill here. Super far forward, but doesn't feel threatened right now, apparently. Yeah, he's got that boat, so no settler on that boat, which will also be kind of a waste. Bit difficult to harbor iron in this game, right? So, no, that's not what's going on there. He's established that defensive wall that I was talking about earlier. Decent city spot up here in terms of just defense. Not gonna net him that iron just yet, but he's halfway there, I guess. And also just an easy type of line to defend. Allows him to empty all his back cities as long as he's got a naval sentry. And just scouting the entire coast with this boat is super useful for just checking if Lib can even make any boats. And if he can, what direction they could be coming from. That would be valuable intel if you're just looking to control this choke and not worry about your backline cities being boatable. I would definitely agree with that approach in principle. Let's see if he's able to establish vision like that for himself. He's gonna pack up that warrior again, I assume, and sail on, try and figure out what's going on over here. Not sure why he even unloaded here, probably because his boat... Oh no, he's gonna explore separately with the boat and the warrior. Typically a good idea, not that good an idea here, because you don't... because the land is just so slim. But that's not a mistake on his part, he just can't know that the map isn't that big over here, or not that far over here. But actually, maybe he's still right for doing this, because you can explore one coast with the warrior and the other one with the galley, so you still get more exploring done for the same price. You just lose the threat of dropping off a warrior at your opponent's land if you were able to get there. So at least we know Ironclad's got galleys, and we know that Lip doesn't, because if he had the tech, I would have gotten it, and I just realized I have gotten it. So I'm lying. Lip has teched it as well. He's able to build galleys in Loch Dunham at least. So maybe he's also gonna scout out with some boats or try for some boating opportunities himself. There's some pretty interesting angles on this map. Can't lie, right? You can boat around north here without the enemy realizing, and you can also boat over this horse island, which is suspiciously there, and people having sentries on this middle part would also not notice that, and perhaps feel a false sense of security in that regard. So definitely cool map for boating. I like the way this one generated. Not sure why he sailed here though. If he wanted to just explore the coast here, he would have sailed to this tile. So maybe he's going back over to this landmass in order to check Lib's western coast out. What do we see? Maybe he just got lazy moving the boat and didn't get the maximum scouting value out of it. Wouldn't put that past him either. Is that city gonna come through soon? He's shown that settler to Lib. His archers have spotted the unit, and Ironclad, of course, moving more defensive units up because he can't easily reinforce that front city. So if he's planting it, he's gotta make sure he's not vulnerable to a mass attack that Lib could or could not be launching, depending on how big his army actually is. Oh, look at that beautiful medieval German city. Is Ironclad just going full tech mode? I like the cities, dude. I didn't remember the German cities looking this nice, although I guess the European style cities. But I like that medieval town. And yeah, he's just ahead. Let's check army sizes. Then we have 16-7 for Lib, and we have 17-13. Okay, so a sizable army lead. Ton more workers. Oh, no, a few more workers only at this point. Same amount of cities for both parties, including the settlers that haven't been planted yet. And yeah, of course, Ironclad's tech lead, which is very interesting. So we know that Ironclad has every tech that's required for era advancement. That is nuts. That means that Lib has none of these techs, or my great library isn't functioning properly, which could also be true. But no, probably Lib just doesn't have any of these techs. Maybe he's just saving. But yeah, whatever. He's got the swordsman upgrade now, so maybe he was saving for that. Not sure how many he's got. We can check though, because finally these scouts worked, or the spies rather worked out in our favor. 7 swordsmen, decent. They're not gonna be able to punch through Bremen, which ironically is a bit too far south for my liking on this map. But no, what? He mixed it up. Oh, I'm gonna rage. He mixed up the planting order this time around, and Munich is on the northern tip of Germany again. 2 games in a row. Oh, dude, I'm gonna lose my cool here. You can't do that to a beautiful geography, mate. Oh, it's horrendous. Munich and Bremen belong switched. I can't look at this. All right, having my emotional tantrum put behind me. I recognize Lib for that city plan rather over here. I like that. Burgidala, another coastal one that allows you to make boats on the western part as well. Ironclad has indeed transferred his galley back over to the mainland, or to his coast of the mainland, I should say, and is able to scout around south, check out that coast and see if he's boatable at all. Also probably gonna find that horse island that still provides a funny little boating angle. Two cities burning here. What's going on there? Oh, he's got an issue. What's going on? I gotta investigate something, I guess. He hasn't DM'd me yet, I don't think. No, he has not. But apparently something is about to come there. Alright, we're unpausing. We've cleared up an issue and it's fine to play on, I'm pretty sure. Asking IC whether he's ready. And then we're gonna keep rolling. Okay, finally I get it. Okay. Finally I get it. Oh, right. So the planting off red water doesn't matter if there's no despotism penalty. That's what you're saying. All good. All good. But then, all right. Back to the action after that short intermission here. And yeah, I was just saying I liked that plant over here, and I like Icy scouting down that coast. He might potentially find that island. That is a very elusive boating angle that Lib might not be expecting Ironclad to just bypass his western coast and wrap all the way down to the southeastern part where he could be landed. So yeah, that would be rough. And again, we have the 7 swordsman upgrade here for Lib, which is up to 10 at this point. Okay, I need to pour myself another cup of tea. Oh god, that's gonna be boiling hot. Forgot to open that thing up. So yeah, no drinking for me for another half an hour or something. Great. Good thing I don't have to talk a lot, do I? Maybe should change the category back to just chatting as I had at the beginning of the stream. Okay, now finally. Actually, I think that is the volume not super high on the stream. Maybe I should turn down the volume a bit. No, alright. Maybe I guess you guys would have alerted me if it was terrible. Next stream I'll tune it down a bit. I won't change it now midstream, not to fuck with people's audio setups. Okay. Now, putting all that stuff behind us, all that organizing, all that, yeah, all those technicalities. Lib is roading up here with his 10 stack. That still isn't mega scary, but if he was, say, able to get a couple of boats out, then he might be able to do something with those swordsmen, especially if Ironclad's not expecting it. He's got the map making pretty sure, right? Because there's no reason why I would have it otherwise. He's not made any galleys yet, though, as we can see right here. Only 4 types of unit, very concise. Ironclad, of course, with that additional spearman galley, doesn't have any swordsman, of course, which Lib just upgraded. And there we go. Both those cities that were on fire have been put out. Glad to see that. Ironclad gonna keep expanding. We have another settler coming out of Heidelberg here. That is decent. I guess he's gonna keep making use of that land, which he's probably gonna need, right? Because eventually he'd fall behind, even though Lib has started rather slowly with those city sprawls. He gets another coastal up north, which I also like, but same thing for Ironclad. He's got a galley boat out, and I'm not sure he's got any units in. Maybe I should check. Yeah, let me see. Okay. Alright, one archer. At least that's something. One archer in that boat. Lib not able to detect it so far. So that might be a surprise, although interestingly, look at this. Lib's shifting a lot of his swordsmen up here, so I assume he's gonna rush 2 galleys out of Eboracum. That looks to be his plan right now. And he could be trying a boating attempt there. Spotting Ironclad's galley might deter that, though, if he is eventually able to do that, which, again, we also don't know yet, since it doesn't look like he's planning on sending any sentry units up north to the coast. Ironclad apparently surviving a close encounter with a barbed galley down here. Has another one out here in the west. I like that. We need more boats. Love that energy. Keep it up. And Lib's probably doing the same thing right now. Yep, he's already got 1 galley. Where would that be? It could only be in Lugdunum or Burdigala, I think, because Eboracum was just planted. So no way he's got a boat up there already. So I'm curious, where's he gonna go? He's got a couple of swordsmen here, so I think his plan is he's gonna get those 4 swordsmen on 2 boats up to the north. And then he's gonna get his swordsmen as well as the boats moving in the same turn. He's gonna try for a double landing at Bremen with the swordsman and the landing at Stuttgart with the swordsman. Maybe even an additional boat down at Bordigala, which he apparently has made, and try and go for something in the south at the same time. So he could potentially even get 2 cities in the same turn. That would be a massive way to close out this game, but of course only purely hypothetical here for the time being. And yeah, that would be just wishful thinking right now, because Ironclad's doing a great job. He's got sentries in all directions, land as well as sea sentries. And there we go. Actually, I was wrong here. Lib moving in already with these swordsmen. Is he going to look for a mountain position? Is that what he's going to look for? Is he getting end of turn stack attacked again out of Bremen? I doubt it, because we see, luckily, exactly how much there's in there. It's not all that much for Ironclad. It's going to be able to reinforce enough not to lose the city, most likely. But yeah, there we go. As the turn ends, he's getting the walls up, which is huge. That makes it impossible for Lib to take that city this turn. We have, again, both sides, 1 city burning. Actually, Verulamium with burning as well, so 3 at the same time. This is getting a little bit rough here, a little bit chaotic, I should say. Another city plant down here. I didn't see the settler move in, but that's also interesting. Having that line extended with another city makes the defending a little bit easier, a little bit more straightforward, and also a little bit tougher for Lib to tell how many units exactly you've got there defending those cities. He's moving up more swordsmen here. He's got some nice archers and swordsmen. It would have been a close call attacking Bremen, but with those units up here reinforcing, you probably wouldn't have had that good a chance of taking it. But of course, Ironclad now moved those guys over that they can also reinforce with this turn. So Bremen is definitely not going to fall, especially not after that wall being finished there. He could double move into Dortmund, however, but that doesn't do him any good either, because Dortmund can way more easily be reinforced from the backline cities as well as from Bremen itself. So these 2 frontline cities, by now, are pretty safe. It looks like Lib has spotted Ironclad up here. So, yep, there we go. At least, well, at the latest, he sees him now. And he knows that there is a galley here. And somehow it looks like... Yeah, that's a second galley. So he must have gotten a galley out of Eboracum and have loaded it up already. Because The swordsmen that used to be there, I don't think he moved them all over to Bremen. He wouldn't have had the moves for that anyways. So, no, actually, it looks like the boat must be loaded up, making him a bit vulnerable to the potential landing from that one archer that we know is in this galley. But no, that's just too ridiculous. I can't see that happening. Rather, the focus should be on this land border that we have still being contested over here. Lib with his archer swordsman stack, which is a decent threat, but not to whatever Ironclad's got going over here. You could potentially take this mountain, but it would come at a huge loss, at a huge cost, and it wouldn't even be that strategically valuable, as I see it. Bunch of archers reinforcing from Ironclad as well. He's got enough units to hold onto this tight choke point. It's not all that scary for him. And look at him. He's pretty much completely empty at home. He's moving out with a boat over there eastward. So he's playing for the long con, it seems. He's actually gotten 2 boats out of Eboracum. I didn't think he'd have the time necessary to do that, but apparently he did. And he's going to move them on extremely quickly if he doesn't want to get spotted potentially by this Ironclad galley. But it looks like he's looking end of turn. And he's looking at the mountain here, it seems. End of turn stack attack. Good reinforced by Ironclad. Wow, that was... Oh, it's still going on. Okay, let's see how many he ends up getting with this. Oh, he still gets a hold on. That's bullshit. Oh, the end of turn stack attack didn't pay off. Why did the swordsman not move over? Oh, that's a huge loss for Lib. I hope it doesn't end up... Yeah, no, I hope he doesn't end up tilt hitting into it again now, but nah, that's some bullshit. He should have gotten that. And again, at least he's gotten his boats out over here. Pretty sure that there's 4 swordsmen over here, and if he takes the northern route, he might even be able to sneak around Ironclad's sentries. That would be huge. If he ends up getting spotted, that would be bad, of course. Ironclad has the 1 tile further vision than him, so I really hope he ends up taking that northern route, because that could lead him to exposed backside cities of Ironclad, although he probably would be spotted here at the latest. So it would have to be ridiculously lucky to get through there completely unseen. As I do some switching again. He is pretty empty at home, no question about it. He's also, however, managed to sneak away from that Ironclad galley that he knows is there. His offensive stack has been decimated in some form. He's still got a ton of archers there at least. Ironclad apparently went for some horsemen here finally, because that's the only rest that he has access to. 2 of them isn't all that much, but maybe he's going to put them into boats and try to get an angle onto Lib that way. I could see that. Lib now again gets note of that galley, which could land him. Remember, you can take workers in multiplayer with non-amphibious military units out of boats. So better guard that worker if you want to hold on to it. But maybe he just wants to bait IC into unloading onto it, so that the unit would then be easier to clear out for Lib himself. His offensive effort has been entirely halted at Bremen though. So I'll be watching, curious what he's going to do with it. He might just move on to this stack with a couple more units and then wait until his boats arrive and try for a double attack. Oh, this is big though. Seems the Ironclad's actually moving forward with this galley now. Maybe he somehow noticed Lib's boats, and there we go. He moves on to the worker, takes it. I guess just going to put it back into the boat. Is he? Looks like he disbanded it actually, but could have just loaded it back into the boat. Anyhow, gets a free worker, I guess. Takes 1 off Lib at the very least. And over here, what I was gonna say is maybe Ironclad spotted Lib's boat, but more likely he's just extending his scouting efforts along that western coast here, or that northern coast. Probably doesn't expect these 2 guys to be here. That would be some major big brain thinking without having seen it, which again I'm not 100% sure that he didn't, but I suspect strongly. What's he going to do against that archer though? It looks like it's just going to get cleared up next turn, unless Ironclad's quick enough to move fit off there, which is not impossible. Okay, It looks like both guys aren't necessarily focusing on that. And look at this. Lip wins both the combats. He gets the archer cleared out with the swordsman, doesn't even lose any HP there. And he also gets the boat cleared out with a boat of his. So, Ironclad is now aware that there's a Celtic boat in the north. Well, right next to a swordsman of Lips as well. So Ironclad's gonna put two and two together and know that there's a potential for boating going on already. Wars up in Dortmund now as well. These frontline cities I just can't see being taken. Lib with another coastal plant coming up soon-ish. I still like the way Ironclad's sentries are set up, but he's now a little bit weaker. No boating sentries up here in the east anymore. And that western one, I'm not sure if it's fortified still, and I don't think he's got any military units in there, so we can't quick fortify it either after a move. So, alright, we saw it live in action. Lib did elect to go for the northern route, and just at the same time we see Ironclad moving down further south. The window apparently is just opening at the exact right time for Lib to get on through there. I didn't expect him to actually go for the northern route, because that could just be an island leading nowhere. But if he's confident enough and curious enough to explore that island chain, he could find a golden opportunity here. And then even if he doesn't go along the northern tip, but instead the more promising southern one, where there's more cities to access, even if he did that, Ironclad will probably not spot him at this rate if he keeps on moving further down south. Now he might cancel that southward movement and come back home once he realizes that he's just exposing himself to unnecessary risk. But that's not, able to be taken for granted there. Definitely not. Never mind that. Looks like Ironclad's just rolling up over here, checking out the area as well. Is Lib gonna hit that? He sees a 2 HP galley here. He might have a 3 HP one in Burdigala, though I think he just made walls, so probably no galleys there yet. Can't exactly estimate it though, because that city's been there for a while now. Actually should have galley or two. Let's check how many galleys does he have in total. He's got 4. No, so that's all. 1 down here, 1 up north, and then the 2 going on the 007 mission, and Ironclad extending that southward scouting. Is that him digging his own grave? Potentially, though. Potentially, because all these back cities are such yummy bounty. With Horse Swordsman, it isn't outlandish to think you might be able to take 2 cities in this type of setup here, which of course Lib doesn't know the exact geography of, but he can suspect that there's vulnerable backline cities, since the land cannot possibly extend far enough backwards to allow Ironclad not to have any buildable cities. That would just be unlikely. It looks like Lib's going for another move though. End of turn stack attack onto the mountain. Does he get it this time around? Great wall done in Berlin. That's just a meme, but alright. Lib this time around gets the roll and the net speed as well. Not that many units left there. It is on a mountain, but I think Ironclad could also just be brute force for the through this if he really meant it. I'm not saying it's really worth it, because that stack isn't all too threatening, but at this rate he could just probably strong arm it. Also, look at these beautiful cities, dude. I praised the nice German medieval cities, but with even the smaller ones, the town-sized ones with the wall, are looking pretty cute. I can't lie here. Pretty decent city design. Another boat just finished in Hanover as well, and one out of Stuttgart last turn already, I believe. So Ironclad re-establishing those naval sentries. This one, especially out of Hanover, could end up coming to his rescue. Although it's apparently going down south, so that wouldn't do him that much good. Just hoping for him that he gets another one out of Frankfurt, Salzburg, Hanover, or the new founded Brandenburg at some point before Liv catches him with his pants down. Oh, dude. Oh, lord. Ah, my goodness. All right. Happy to see a bunch of people joining for the chat again. Always lovely to look at such a colorful chat in terms of the names and the active discussion going on here. Okay. And I'm always glad, of course, to partake a little bit myself as well. Looks like Ironclad moving a couple of units over here just to deter Lib from moving inland any further. Even if he did, it wouldn't cost Ironclad that much. There's no city to double move onto, other than, of course, Bremen and Dortmund, which are sufficiently defended, at least from whatever Celts are offering right now. Yeah, so Lib's real chance here is on the seas. He's not going to catch up in score here, I don't think. Well, he could if he went on to a city founding spree, but in that case, his front cities really aren't all that well defensible. He's got 3 cities at the very least that Ironclad could just march into, and with the military advantage that Germany already has, I don't think Lib can just afford to go maniac and found a city or like 2-3 cities every turn here, despite the land allowing for it, of course. Ironclad's scouting efforts extending a little bit further. I like him doing that, right? I like him trying to cover all his flanks, and it just doesn't seem to be working out exactly because Lib has found one angle that Ironclad apparently isn't thinking of right now. Let's see if there's any end of turn movement going on there. I don't think so. I don't believe that's the case. Great Wall in Berlin. I like that. Any more wonders? Doesn't look like it. Lib also just finished horseback riding, it seems. Gets his galley sunk over here at Lindum and Budegala as well. He's got those 2 guys still chilling up north. He can make the crossing here. Then end of 3 turns is the earliest that he could land on German shores. I'd expect that to take a little bit longer because, of course, he probably won't be able to beeline straight to it. And Ironclad still, of course, has the chance to get a boat out to spot it in advance. How many does he have? He's got 4 of them, so he doesn't. All the boats, there's none in his cities. It's this one, the southern one, the western one, and of course the one on vacation in Libland, who is slowly inching forwards with his galleys here. You can see it. He's looking for his angle, and he's going to be delighted to find out that Ironclad doesn't have any sentries around this area. Alright. His land is about to be used up in the north, though. He can plant like 1, 2, 3, 4 cities, I guess, if he really meant it. 4 cities up north is the maximum that he can get. I'd expect more like 3 of them. And then he would have to expand south if he needed to, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he's content with the score that he already has, and he can just keep building military to stop himself from dying. A veteran galley over here. Looks like he's got a nice roll over here as well, because I think Lib's galley was already at 2 HP. So Ironclad taking those chances and getting rewarded with the full HP plus promotion. Gotta feel nice for him. He's now having naval priorities on both flanks. Only thing he's lacking is, of course, the backside here. Let's hope Lib doesn't forget about moving those boats. Would be a costly loss to have one of these guys sink. New Berlin and New Leipzig being founded already. Jesus, why is there so few German city names in this game? And Salzburg even one of them. That's a bit offensive even. Not to me, I mean, I don't care. But maybe to Austrians. If those... Yeah, not sure. Well, that's interesting. Why is he moving the horseman away? He's building a boat in Salzburg. This could be the absolute downfall of Lib's strategy, because this boating attempt has been like 10 turns in the making, and it's about to be destroyed by a boat coming out of Salzburg in 1 turn or 2, because there's no other reason for Ironclad to get that horseman on over there, if not to join a boat soon. That's exactly what I'm expecting. Maybe he just ends up sending it south and barely missing Lib. That could be a thing. Not impossible. And let's also check in on the turn time actually. Alright, there's 30 turns left. We're in turn 34, 64 total. I could have also just looked at the year, but you guys really think I know how many turns there are in a QC game? Definitely not. So, alright, good to know. 30 turns left, so that's not a concern really for now, the turn timer. All it says us is that Lib's not gonna catch up and score. He needs this kill, and Ironclad knows that. That's why he went for the Great Wall, as well as, of course, to show off his wonder building skills. Border expand in Salzburg is interesting too. He just pop rushed something there, didn't he? Wasn't it a two citizen city? That's what I thought. So I guess he must have pop rushed something there. And Lib is nearing that border. The border expand is not going to do that much for IC, but at least a little bit of a more difficult task for Lib to inch through when trying to find a suitable landing spot. There we go. Polytheism also researched by Lib now. Is he still going for that next era? Is he looking for that feudalism? He might be. That could be big. Because check this out. All right, I thought there was Gallic swordsmen here, but maybe they aren't. All right, is it a chivalry? I don't know. Really, dude, I'm a QC noob. Let's check. Units, Gallics, education. Holy shit. It's at education only. Oh my lord. So that's not gonna be reached this game. I promise. And yeah, there we just saw Ironclad loading up a boat out of Salzburg that we expected to come through. Lib's boat's still waiting away, and they might make contact next turn. Unless Ironclad decides to move down south. I don't expect this. I expect him to also try the same thing that Lib's trying. Although, well, actually he's done nothing but establishing naval priority on the western coast. So no reason to really not just go for a boating attempt on that side. Why else would you be spamming so many boats on that coast? Or maybe those boats are just there to spot all the crossovers that, all the crossings that Lib could make from his continent. Not sure there. The more obvious route to me would be the wraparound to the west, but maybe the southern part here is juicy enough for Ironclad to go for. Whichever decision he makes, it might end up being game deciding. But I also like the way that he's got spearmen in all his border cities now, making it way less likely for two swordsmen to be able to take out a single one of them. And yeah, that's of course, how to put this. It's getting tougher for Lib to find the kill here, and the score lead has been out of range for a while. Ironclad's got the naval sites all covered. And there we go, here comes the move up. Ironclad couldn't have had the fortification yet, so he can't see him, but he can next turn unless Lib moves to this tile, which I really doubt he would. He sees the border here at this point, right? He's got vision of this area, so I would be very surprised. Up there he goes. He just ends up moving to this tile. So if Ironclad's not completely lazy and actually ended up fortifying that galley, then he sees him next turn, and that's gonna be terrible news. That's gonna be probably game ending for the Celts. Is Lib gonna go out 0-2 like this? He's gotten pretty unfortunate in these two games so far, but Ironclad's just playing some solid games of QC at 101, I would say. Not really much that I have criticized there, I don't think, other than the geographically inaccurate city spots. But I think there's worse errors to commit in a QC 1v1. Therefore, probably not going to be all that mad about that. Ironclad is a nice naked settler here for good measures as well. And is this going to be spotted now? I'm almost positive it is. As the turn ends, are we seeing any boat movements here out of these guys? Not yet. So maybe both of these haven't spotted each other yet, but I would be very surprised if Ironclad had. And I could see Lib not fortifying those boats because he had probably a lot of stuff to do and only moved them near the end of the turn. Ironclad's gotta notice that galley there though, because he's been there for the entire last turn This galley has got to spot it, and judging by the frantic spearman movement that we've got going over here, I would almost dare to bet that he actually ended up seeing the galleys. Now, Lib's got a nice angle here. The problem is he doesn't know it. He can go over here, double unload here and here, and attack 2 cities, or just on this tile, and attack 2 cities from it. If he's gonna find that route without any knowledge of how the maps look over here, that's highly doubtable. And even if there's no way Ironclad's gonna lose 2 cities to 4 swordsmen, especially after just spotting those boats this turn. He just barely got his vision boats out in time, in the exact right turn actually. The last possible turn he got the vision boat out of Salzburg. So it was a real close affair there, but Lib didn't get through unseen. And also, got to remember, Ironclad, even before seeing those boats, had already put spearmen into those walled cities at the coast anyway, so it would have been a tough task for Lib to do anyways. He's got a ton of swordsmen all over the map, though, I realize. What's Ironclad got? He's got a ton of spearmen now. Not really making more archers, it seems. Only those 2 horsemen. He hasn't made any additional ones. Are they in his boats down here? He very well might be. Oh no, I think he just loaded into this northern one, I thought. So no, maybe he's moved them over into this one by now. I don't know. Man, I really can't tell. But it also seems as though the Celts have struck back on this front. Maybe Lib actually succeeded in sinking Ironclad's veteran galley and got rewarded with one of his own. Could also just be a regular veteran out of the harbored Eborakum, which I don't know if he's got one. Would just assume so. So, what's Lib gonna do with these moves? I mean, you gotta move him this turn. And Ironclad's already picketing the coast. Oh god. This isn't gonna work out. Alright, and there comes the move. Oh lord, this is gonna be a tough side for him. Alright, he wins that combat. Next one doesn't go so well for him. He's got 1 boat remaining and no coast to land on. There he goes. Comes in with the 2 HP galley. And this has gotta feel smothering for him. He's down 1-2 in the series. He can't afford another loss rather. But Ironclad's really not giving him many outs. He's standing there, 1 off coast, can't get on land. Ironclad even unloading that horseman. Mausoleum even being completed now in Berlin. What to do here, mate? He's used that boat. Oh, he's unloaded the horseman just as a picketing. And he's removed the boat. I'm not sure what he did with that. Did he end up hitting the galley and just lose? Or did he put it back into Salzburg? I missed that move at least. In any case, Lib's just not going to be able to find any landable tiles rather. So what is his out? If there are any. I mean, he's not gonna catch up and score. He's still falling behind every turn, I believe. He's definitely not catching up, I'll tell you that much. And it looks like he's not able to gain naval priority anywhere. And even if he was, you can see here Ironclad can just block the landings if his presence of mind suffices. So, is this just it? Is this just where the Celts lose this game and Lib is closed out? You'd have to suspect it, mate. It is. Oh man. Give me 1 second here. Okay, just had to fix something up real quick. Apologies there. Ooh. Oh yeah, again, I get the request to move the minimap, or to move the overlay of the minimap. Probably not worth it that much for this game anymore, but I'll just show this real quick. I'll just remove the camera here for a second so you can take a look if you were curious. I already did that last time, right? In the last stream, I removed the overlay there. For this one, I thought the entire map would fit on my screen, so I didn't think there would be a point in having a mini-map. But maybe it helps in visualizing boating opportunities, or just in QC when the land areas actually get too big to fit on one screen. So yeah, I get it. I'll activate the camera. I reactivated it right now, just to, there we go, just to have it for this one. I don't think the minimap is that important for this one, but for future tournaments, especially not 1v1 ones, especially not tourneys where both players are on the same screen, I look for a different situation. I've heard that criticism and that wish expressed enough times by now, and I agree. It's just a good feature to have for the spectating experience as well. So yeah, I don't mind it. All right. That being done, though, we have about, well, 26 more turns for Lib to come up with something. So far, I don't like his options. He's still got his boat over here. Is he gonna unload it onto anything? Let's see. End of turn. Nothing happening there. Maybe he's just trying to lull IC into something, but he just gets crushed and sunk. Got another boat out over here. But again, that's just within Ironclad's vision. He's shifting his strategy a bit by now, it seems. He's realized that Ironclad's coastal cities are well enough defended, therefore goes for horsemen now. What could the idea there be? I mean, he could attack. He could build a stack of horsemen, put it into Glanum, and then move this stack onto, say, onto the road here, and then attack Dortmund. And if he did that, then Ironclad might shift a lot of units over there, and you could attack Bremen out of Glanum within one turn without a double move even. But is that really realistic? Maybe it's your best angle right now. The other way, of course, would be to put these horsemen onto boats and try to find further inland cities that maybe aren't protected against landings as well. But not knowing any of the maps of your opponent probably makes that a bit of a tough plan to execute. I can't see that realistically. So no, he's actually just gathering these horsemen near Glanum, as I said. He's going to move in with swordsmen, fake an attack onto one of the cities, try to cut the roads behind them, and then he's going to commit full on with the horses onto another city. It's just what my guess would be. That's the last thing that I could see him do here. What does he have? He's got construction and currency left to tack for the next age, it seems. And yeah, there is, not sure there's much there. Maybe you could go for the medievals, of course. That would be something. The 4 attack units, giving you a bit of a better chance there. However, we already saw Ironclad with a couple of longbows here, so he's long gone with the tech lead. That's for sure. He doesn't have any pikemen, of course, since, you know, no iron and all that. But yeah, what does he? What could he get? Like he's already got those longbowmen, right? But their defensive bombard is no. Oh, it is better. It's double the defensive bombard from archers. Actually, I didn't know that. Okay, thought it was the same, but was clearly wrong on that front. Any other units from the medieval era that he could do? Just we see, as I thought, Lib would be heading for the front cities. He ends up actually loading some horses into a boat here. That could have been within an Ironclad's vision. I'm not sure if that shows to your enemy. Alright. Lib just saying he didn't realize he wouldn't have Gallics. That is pretty game changing, I would say. So, well, he didn't pick Celts and then not have Gallics, right? But of course, in the early game, it's kind of a strategy that you think about, and then if it ends up not being available, that's of course quite disappointing then. But well, got 2 horses in a boat here that he can land starting next turn. Here he goes with a stack. Probably. Oh, no, he can't unload. You can't unload this turn. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Oh, dude. Oh, maybe he just wanted to block the road there. I'm not sure. It looks like he's going for the stack hit onto Dortmund, though. I'm not sure if the full stack was committed yet, but I assume it was. And that's a lot of swordsmen, but it's definitely not enough to punch through a city that is roaded and has this type of a backup here. So no, I can't see this going all too well for him. I guess he forgot you can't load a boat and unload it in the same turn if you didn't do it from a city. Ah, sad for him. Maybe waiting another turn. Maybe they could have done something, but then in retrospect, these horses on this tile here, they can't hit any other cities anyways, other than Bonn. And I think, yeah, 2 horses probably wouldn't have been enough, although they might have. We don't know what exactly there is underneath that archer. And that stag attack apparently has concluded. Only 4 units killed, it seems. Dortmund beaten down quite a bit, but surely not out and not gonna fall either. That was Lib's last hurrah here. Let's look at his army. He's got 14 swordsmen left and 6 horsemen, so it is something, but it's nothing that Ironclad isn't aware of. So he's just got no more angles. There's no way for him to take out 2 cities. The score lead, it's at least it's not keeping on expanding. That's, I mean, I guess something, but not enough turns left in this game for that to happen. Oh lord. Is Ironclad actually gonna stomp him out just like that? QC, Lip told me it was his strongest mod, but looks like he's rusty. Not quite sure about the mechanics there, and apparently some anarchy shenanigans as well, although we're not sure about that. It's just a tough go at it for him here. And his rival, his very much big-mouthed rival, is looking to 2-0 this best of 3. And there shrinks his stacks. There is it one by one getting eliminated. And so are the chances of sneaking a kill here. Again, I expect a GG here pretty soon. Although he still has units, he might just throw him at Ironclad again. Not sure what's coming there. Although, again, these are in German's vision over there. So no surprise attacks possible, and at this point there's no more boats near Ironclad's coast. Even over here he's been completely cleared out. The naval warfare didn't go all that well for him either. Let's compare this naval strength real quick. We have 3 galleys for the Celts against 7 for the Germans, 21 longbowmen as well. That is an army size that in pure longbowmen Lib just sadly isn't able to match. Is he gonna move everything in there this turn? Not everything, a few units. Ironclad's already reinforcing though. He's not playing games here. Horsemen not quite ready to reinforce at the same time, but as the turn ends, that's all he's got available at this point. And look at the moves coming in here, flying on over. Of course, these are the pre-queued auto moves, but yeah, there we go. Oh, this is interesting. So you can load 2 into Lindum and then drive over here, put 2 horsemen into this galley, out of your boat, and then unload it in the same turn at Bonn. Maybe that's the angle he's looking at here, but yeah, that would only be one city then. And these longbowmen are already doing work on his units. Let's check the text screen once more. Construction currency still not done for him. He's not getting close to longbowmen himself, or of course just the medieval infantry. I can't see this going well for him. Is the second HOLMGANG gonna be a 3-game series just as the first one? I mean, it's best of 3 every time, but so far we had the best of the we had the 2-0 yesterday for archery over SDN in vanilla, and we're looking at a potential 2-0 for Ironclad over Lib in QC as well. Is there anybody that's going to be able to make it a 3-game series in one of these HOLMGANG duels? Or is it just a clear statement of power in every case here of one of our contestants over the other one? Remember, this is a whole different beast from yesterday's matchup, where we had just SDN and Archie were two previous teammates, two guys who have no issues with each other at all, other than probably that they come from the opposite ends of Europe, opposite peninsulas, I guess one could say, and maybe there's some rivalry there, which I doubt. And this is the polar opposite. This was supposed to be a real grudge match, a real rivalry playing out. And if you're in a rivalry like that, you can't afford to go down 0-2, at least not without a fight. And Lib's been trying to put his best fight up. I assume there's 2 horses in this galley. Maybe that's his out. Maybe Ironclad's gonna do him a favor and plant another city over here. We have the settlers over there and here. That would actually be funny if these 2 city plants came out this turn. And somehow the horses out of Lindum were able to land and take out. But nah, there's no way Lib is anticipating it. His clear plan is to load the horses from this boat into this one and then drive up here. I hope he realizes that in order to do that, he needs to move onto this galley. Movement going on over here, and alright. Ironclad shows his settler to Lib now, which I know might give him another idea. Don't think so though, because yeah, just looking at this, there's no way he takes this one out. So I still expect him to rather look for the move on to Bonn again, just as last turn. Glanum also featuring a couple of his last remaining horsemen. Let's look at it. He has 12, so 10 on the land. 4 swordsmen 2, yeah, which is basically nothing. He's definitely on his last legs here. And I do expect Ironclad to transition into the counterattack soon, because he wouldn't just take the free win like this, right? He wouldn't just want to win by score against an opponent who has been beaten down considerably at this point. It appears as though Lib might not go for the horseman transfer here, possibly fearing that Ironclad would get vision of it, which he maybe would. I'm not sure how that works when you're loading units between boats. But apparently that is not gonna happen here. We have another end of turn horse move coming in onto Dortmund. Yes, this one coming through, but again, I don't think he can unload these horses. Oh, he can. He's done it properly. All right, at least one of them, and there goes the second one. Though I don't think that was within time. Cologne has also successfully defended itself, and that means Dortmund is gonna hold on. Yeah, I think one of these horses wasn't loaded in properly. I think it was out of moves. But maybe I'm wrong. He would probably know better looking at the numbers while he does it. But that's that. Again, 3rd turn in a row, the landing plus the land invasion comes through. 3rd turn in a row, he's been beaten back. These longbowmen giving him a tough time. Definitely now he's streaming these horsemen in one by one. You hate to see it. You really do. He's now arbitrarily hitting units, because yeah, he's just hitting units to hit units at this point, I think. And is that it? Are we at the end of our affair here? What's Ironclad got? Let me just see if it's realistic for him to... Yeah, he's got 35 longwomen. He could just march through at this point. He's got full naval priority there, so... I want to see him go on the offense if Lib doesn't GG here. And he's not made any moves towards that so far, which disappoints me a bit. He might have some units on these boats, but again, I also doubt that is GA so late. Oh yeah, I mean, Ironclad got, what did he get? He got the Great Wall, which is militaristic, and then he got Morse, which is scientific. So yeah, he's got that GA, whereas yeah, that's just another bonus on top of his already massive edge. And yeah, just no access to a GA for Lib as well. That's just a ridiculous disparity there. banking on the Gallic Swordsman to give him the early GA, but then that unit not showing up on the attack tree has gotta have felt terrible there for the Celts. Ah, it is a cursed day for Lib, isn't it? Things just didn't seem to work out there. Ideally, in Ironclad, I definitely, I'm not taking anything away from it. I really loved that end of turn stack move that Ironclad did to answer Lib's move onto Rostov. That was definitely a fun one, and it seems like he's just moving up all the units at this point. Doesn't look as coordinated anymore. Emptying stuff probably, and maybe we're gonna see fun take place here as well. I guess that was another horseman filling up over there at Lindum. Where do they go though? And still, this protection of coastal cities is probably what's going to allow Ironclad to yeah, not pay as much attention to all the possible landing spots, because really Lib just doesn't have the navy to land an army this size able to punch through this one. Look at this. How many boats does he have? 2, 3. All right, he's got 3. Where's the third one then? We only see these 2 over here constantly. He might have one in one of the cities still, maybe healing up in Eboracum. Oh no, never mind. The southern one, which is in a curious spot. But yeah, not going to be helpful in transferring more units over. He's finished construction at least. Okay, I see you. I see you. Done with construction. Currency gonna be next, and then he's already in the Middle Ages. Maybe that's his plan right now. Going for the Medi. There we go. There come all the automated moves. Nothing major here unless I missed something. And there's the A job for him as well. Okay, so he's just finished the currency. Guess I'll get it next turn. Now maybe with feudalism. Maybe with that med-inf. Is what he's thinking, I assume. Ironclad's probably not going to give him the time though. Look at this. He's finally moving in here. Army been transferred down south. I also assume that there's going to be units in some of these boats at least. Maybe. Do I want to steal the plans again? Maybe I do, just to see where his army is at in general. That's expensive, dude. What are these prices? Alright. I guess not. Jesus. Can't even steal a military plan anymore in peace. Ah, what is this? What is this game? Well, it would have been interesting to know which of his boats might have some units in them, or how many he's got in those front cities as well, to bolster that stack that he's been building. But I want to see some cities fall. I want to see stone be broken, bricks be shattered, before that stream ends. Lib's doing it the right way, by the way. Look at this. He's emptying all those back cities. He's saying fuck it and moving it all up, because he really needs to. He really needed to. I should rather say. Ironclad still. Look at this. What are you scared of? Come on. Get those warriors to the front. They're called warriors, not guardians. My lord. Alright, is this the elite coming? Yeah. Move them up. Move them all up. That's right, I see. Want to see battle. Okay, even the elite. Maybe we'll see an army as well. That would definitely be fun. Horseman army or something. Some 3 movers messing up the Celts, taking half his cities in one turn. Ignoring the fact that 2 city elimination is still a thing. Galleys just chilling over here for Lib still. The half-assed picketing of the coast gets me really. He's pretending as though he was trying to. But yeah, that's a good one. I see. I appreciate the meme. Maybe should investigate Glanum. Maybe that's interesting to know what Lib's got in there. Although, do I wait a little bit longer? He might move more up into that city. No, I think he's pretty much done with his moves. So investigate city Glanum. Where is it? Oh, bro. QC spying. Okay, it's getting a barrack soon, but yeah, this is not sufficient. Now the question is, does Ironclad call his bluff or not? Actually, no, never mind. It is sufficient for this stack. End of turn, though. That's where the real stuff happens. That's where the real fun begins. And if end of turn, a decent amount of longbowmen are fueled in here, and Glanum is potentially at danger there. However, we just saw him move a ton of longbowmen up into Bremen, so he might wait one more turn before going for that decisive stack move. Or am I wrong? Let's check. Any more coming? Okay, that is a potent amount of longbowmen. Currency has been researched. Glad. That's very amusing. And there we go. There's the hit onto Glanum. The first city will fall this turn. Is that gonna be enough to push Lib over the edge? His reinforcements are being attempted, it seems. Or maybe he's just trying to retake. Maybe he's gathering units outside the city and trying to retake. Is he gonna move in? There he goes. There we go. In the immediate retake attempt. I have no idea if this is a legal move, by the way. Probably is, but yeah. Here comes Ironclad with the reinforce. And even this nice little cheese attempt wasn't enough for Lib. So what remains is watching IC roll through that land for another turn. Aren't I right? What can he do? Can he take another city before Lib GG's? Can Lib sneak a kill through on Glanum? Doubtful. But no more resistance here from the Celtic side. Means that the favorite in this duel, the one who picked the mod, and who's finally picketing his coast for some reason, as though to say, I could have defended this for this entire time, I just didn't. Ironclad has all but won this game. Anything barring a heart attack results in him getting this dub, and even a heart attack probably would suffice in him taking the map, because he's not going to get outscored, is he? And I'm not sure Lib can ever muster enough units to get through Glanum, but he probably noticed at some point that IC was AFK, so maybe he could punish. All right, the dark humor memeing aside, give us another city kill. Come on. Come on, I'm even ending turn in anticipation here. The big build-up, although long past its zenith, of our best of 3 has arrived. Series most certainly not going to be pushed to 3 games. And we only have about, well, the turn is about 2/3 through, so I'd say only about 18, 19 more minutes until this final turn is about to commence. Bah. All right. Oh, right. Maybe we could end turns. That would actually be a gentleman's move here from these guys, to just end turns and let the RNG decide what's left to decide. A favorable rose for Lib, sorry, in the north here. It's getting the ever control back, trying to turn the tides, as the land wars aren't going so well. Maybe help is to be sought on the seas, as did the Union forces against Napoleon. I'm not sure if that's historically accurate, but we'll just roll with it. What's he got? He got a ton of swordsmen. I mean, what's the angle here? Even if you retake Glanum in a sort of cheesy way, what is the angle then? Oh, wait, what? There's still a settler here. Why'd he colony it if he's got a settler on it? Did he forget about his settler? Alright, turn ended. Fair enough, 20 turns left, and I don't think we're gonna see any of those 20, if I'm being real with you. Because this deck might just be enough to end it this turn, although I'm not positive in that regard. Actually, the amount of swordsmen here are concerning enough for Ironclad to probably not be able to punch through Lindum here in one turn if Lib is decent enough on his reinforces. Don't think Ironclad's got more horsemen than this. Is there a stack attack going on at Lindum? I don't think so. A little bit of combat was just taking place, but sure it's much. No additional attacks came in last turn. Of course, I'm always one turn behind, so I can't fully verify that. Lindum is being hit now, isn't it? I see you. Yeah, okay. Got some fighting going on there. Although it looks as though, oh, we have the medieval infantry upgrade, so I did lie. We have medieval infantries here. The tech was completed. Pretty decent tech speed, I guess, for the Celts. Lindum is being reinforced, and Ironclad doesn't have that many more longbow. It might just be enough, though. Can he close it out this turn? It doesn't seem like it. He's got a couple of full HP ones left, but the stack move must be through, right? So these guys all out of attack points. Lib has bought himself another turn of life in this one. Tons of longbows still chilling everywhere in his land, and they're not gonna decrease in number. 16 swordsmen, 5 spears. That's all he's got to defend with. 2 medieval infantries. That's a nice start, and they look pretty good in this color, honestly. I didn't like the swordsmen as much, but look at these medievals. They look real nice. I love that color on them. I'm not usually a fan of mint or whatever that is as much, but they look real cool. And without iron even, Icy's gonna take the dub here. He just keeps on moving those longbows in as though any more were needed to defend Glanum. Really what he needs is more units on the front cities, on the attacking cities. If he wants to take him out, that is, which again he's not 100% dependent on. That's funny. I see even with the Wet Warrior over here. Are there any crazy horseman stacks for the barbs? Not really. That's all manageable. And these guys have settled the major part of these lands over here anyways. Alright, question is, does Ironclad have enough longbowmen here to close out the game next turn? I would suspect yes, because he's threatening 2 cities. Lib doesn't have that many swordsmen nearby to reinforce, and longbowmen are pretty good at clearing out swordsmen in general, and medieval infantries are just as vulnerable as the swordsmen themselves. So no, I don't think Lib is gonna be able to hold it, even if Ironclad's not gonna supply like 20 more longbows this turn. Just getting maybe another 10 on this deck or over here should do the trick. Maybe could threaten Curovernum as well if you really felt the need to. Where is he gonna do it? That's pretty much the last question remaining. Is he gonna have enough longbowmen, and where is he gonna strike? I'm taking bets starting now, for anybody wondering. Look at this, still guarding his back cities. He's probably just not able to be bothered to move all these units one by one. So I give him sort of a pass for that one, but dude, it's the Volkssturm. It's the last-ditch effort to close out the game. Why is not everybody participating in the Volkssturm? My lord. Fake German energy over there. Enough Viking energy to successfully close out the Holmgang, though. Presumably. There we go. Okay, another decent amount of longbowmen, although not a ridiculous one. And what was that? All right, it looked as though he emptied the city on purpose, but no. Maybe just glitched for a second during the upgrade as well. But there goes the hit for Ironclad. That's gonna be reinforce after reinforce put into Augustodorum. But remember, these are 4 attack units. I'm not sure Libertarian's amount of 2 move or of 2 defenders rather is gonna be sufficient over here. Is he getting hit at Lindum as well? Possibly, but I don't think so. He's holding up quite well at Augustodorum though. Look at this. Oh lord, last longbowman! He closed it out actually with the last longbowman that he had over here. That's Lib's death. Wow, he tried to distribute those longbows as well, or those defensive units as well as he could. He knew that every unit that he put into Augustodorum that wasn't needed down south could mean his death down south, but that last remaining unit, the one from the adjacent tile westwards, that was the one that took him out in the end and finished it off. At close to 2 hours, the second map clocks in and ends the Holmgang successfully in Ironclad's favor. Another 2-0 Holmgang, and there's really not much to say. You guys know the stakes of this one. You guys know how much it means. And here you have it, white on black. Series 1 and 2 by Ironclad. This was more dominating than Golden State series over the Dallas Mavericks that's going on right now, in case that's a frame of reference for any one of you guys. Congrats, I guess, to Ironclad. Thanks to finally playing a match on my stream. He was the last big name player, I guess, that I haven't collected yet. At least the last big name player from all of the mods. If you don't consider people like Antiquity, I've got pretty much all the big names in my collection. I hope it was a fun one, and I hope it brought you the retribution that you were seeking against Lib. Of course, it was Lib who was challenging for this Holmgang, but I can assure you guys that Ironclad was not in any way deterred from accepting this one. Okay, Ironclad got his QC Holmgang. He's undefeated 2-0. Lib is gonna have to bite his nails and look for another opportunity to exact his revenge on Ironclad. He's not gotten it today. And at 2:30 a.m. my time, I'm gonna close out the stream for you guys. I'm thankful for all the guys joining me. It was a lively and lovely chat going on today. But that's it for now. This Holmgang has concluded. There are, as well, let me check this out for a second. Yep, there are more Holmgangs set up, so there's gonna be more of them on the stream in the next couple of days / weeks. Keep those challenges coming, by the way. If there's anybody you want to show up on stream like this, Ironclad did a pretty decent presentation of how that could look like here. If any of y'all are interested, please reach out to me with your suggested opponent and mod, and I'll try and see if I can set something up. Thanks for joining me, and maybe it's you guys that are going to participate in the next show here when the stream goes live again. Until then, I'm out for today.